What is up, everybody? It is Chris Akin back once again with another live edition of Chris Akin Presents. And look who joins us once again. He didn't fall off the boat. It is the man himself, Mr. Erik Ferentinos. Erik, how are you, man?
Welcome me back. The cruise was my ticket out. Welcome me back to the show that you all laughed about. Oh, the names have all changed since you hung around. Went on a booze cruise, we sailed around. Who they thought they'd lead you? Who they thought they'd lead you back here where we need you? Well, they teased me a lot, so I put them in a spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome me back, welcome me back.
Yeah, we get a concert tonight, too. Look at that. Well, my friend, welcome back. I'm glad you made it, first and foremost. Mr. Fearful of everything on the cruise, I'm glad to see that you made it back alive. So, let's start right there, man. Talk all about it, man. This is your hour here.
Well, you wouldn't know it from my passport, but I went to Haiti.
Look at that.
That's something I can't explain because they're like, you got to bring your passport, but then they don't stamp it.
Oh, they don't stamp you when you get off, like at wherever that place was, Labadee or whatever?
It's like it didn't happen, bro.
But you did have it in case you missed the boat.
Right. I mean, apparently they wouldn't let you on, of course, if you didn't have that. But seriously, it's like, did they take us there really?
Right.
I mean, if I don't have the stamp thing, I don't know where the hell I was. It could have been like Universal Studios Cuba, you know?
So you thinking this is a Truman Show thing? That you really didn't go anywhere?
Maybe. I could show you my passport. It's blank because it's funny. We were supposed to go to Europe or something. Excuse me. About 7 years ago.
Okay.
And so I went and got rushed a passport out, and then the thing didn't happen and we didn't go.
Right.
So that thing's blank. I have a previous one that's got some countries on it, but we just haven't really traveled internationally much. Okay. So this thing was blank. I went on the cruise and it's still blank, bro.
So really you sat in a hotel room in Florida. You didn't go anywhere.
I don't know what happened. No, we had a great time, man. This, for our fans that didn't know, it was a great opportunity for me to take my lady, Susan.
Sure.
On a trip. I mean, she was really itching to go on some kind of cruise. She had never been on one, and she was starting to like ramble about going with friends without me.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, hell no, you ain't going on no cruise. And then this came up, and yes, this is the Mariner of the Sea.
There you are.
And here's Susan and I. This is these photos will probably be kind of out of order, but I could definitely tell you guys about them.
Sure.
This is the Labadee dock
port or whatever.
And apparently what this is, Royal Caribbean owns all this. It's like the peninsula of Haiti.
Okay.
Apparently they just run it, and it's we'll see in one of the other photos, but it's not a very big area of land.
Sure.
It's very contained. They have their own security there, and they have I guess waiters and whatnot to help bring you drinks if you like, and they have some huts.
Okay.
But the boat's beautiful. Look at that. I mean, and you can see the water here, how crystal clear it is in the Caribbean.
Now, I can't tell from looking. I mean, it looks big, but I thought the cruise that I was on, the boat was big until I'd been on it about 3 days, and it felt very small. Is this boat like really, really big, or?
I would say compared to some crazy stuff I've seen online, I don't know, probably a mid-size, cruise ship. This one seems to be the ship used for a lot of this stuff. In fact, Susan told me tonight that this 80s cruise that we're doing in January is on the same ship.
Oh, really?
It's more of an alternative one, like Marky Ramone's going to be on it, but then it also has 38 Special.
Okay.
Part of it. So, and apparently we got on that thing. It's on the same boat.
Nice. Or not nice, because then it'll be the same scenery, same rooms, same food, same everything.
But it'll be for 8 days, not
Where are you going on that one? Where does that go to?
That where did Natalie Holloway get killed?
Oh,
Aruba.
Aruba. Yeah.
Allegedly killed.
Allegedly killed. She might be working.
Yeah.
Although by now she's probably worked it out. She's probably, what, 50 now. So that was like 15 years ago, right? 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while back. That story freaks you out a little bit, but we're not like going on a date with anybody in town.
That's right. Yeah, here's my new friend Johan. Hello. Let me fuck you.
No, I was fortunate enough to put some sunscreen on. I still got a little burned.
Okay.
Walking out here. I mean, the sun was kicking.
Right.
It was definitely like almost 90 degrees out here, and I'm like almost a goth dude.
Right.
But I had, of course, put copious amounts of sunscreen on and wear a hat, which, as you can see, like the hat, when I put a hat on, nobody recognizes me at all on this thing. I had no idea what it was.
That was the thing on CMS on Saturday. We had our cruise correspondent Ruben came on, and he said point blank he was looking to meet you on the cruise, and he didn't see you. He said he didn't see you the whole 5 days. And I said, well, Erik told me that he put on a hat and just kind of stayed invisible except for the one day. And sure enough, after Ruben checked in, then I got a couple of emails on Sunday all saying the same thing, that they were looking for you and nobody found you. Like you were like either hiding in your room or just hiding under your hat.
Yeah, I'd say the latter.
So did you got out to see bands and stuff, or no?
Not as many as I would have liked.
Okay.
2 of the days were kind of a wash because we played.
Right.
So I was probably, getting ready for that. I did see, can we look at more pictures? I feel like we got a ton of pictures and we're only showing one here.
No, we can put them all up. I just put the one because you mentioned that you were with your girl. So
she's in most of these. I figured, most of the, we could give a perspective from what she and I were seeing. I thought this was kind of cool for anybody who wondered on a cruise ship with the, I guess you'd call the cockpit.
Okay. The captain's wherever, the command post or whatever.
That's right. I mean, it's huge. I mean, that's just a portion of it there, but you could see it looks very technical.
Where's the thing with the bell that they ring? Oh, no, I guess that was in the Titanic era.
Right. There's even another, like, to the right that I didn't get in the photo, like another navigator chair over there. So they have, like, at least, 6 people up there making sure everything's running right. And then whenever you get into a port, there's these ships that take over that know the port very well. Yeah. Because the slightest F up, going in there will destroy the ship.
Yeah, and you hit an iceberg or something. Not on this cruise, probably, but
no, there's no icebergs.
Of course, both of us are stupid. Of course, both of us are stupid.
Jimmy's here to save us.
That's right. Who, former Navy guy, has to step in and go, "You fucking dummies! It's the bridge."
Aiken to the bridge. Aiken to the bridge.
That's right.
Hey, did you hear my lyric when I was like, I said they were teasing me or something, and I go, and I put him in a Spock.
Yeah.
So I put him in a Spock.
Welcome back.
Oh yeah, they teased me a lot, so I put him in a Spock.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if everybody caught the brilliance of that.
I'm assuming this should be pigmentation.
Yes, migmentation.
You have the migmentation of a sheet of paper.
That's right.
Too funny. Oh yeah. Well, dude, it just looks like it was a fun, and it's, I couldn't wait till we got to doing this tonight, because after talking to Ruben on Saturday, he made this thing sound like it was just hell. He made it sound like it was terrible. And I know I had kind of texted back with you, but I did, if you notice, we did not talk about the cruise hardly at all. I just asked you if you had a good time, and that was it.
Sure. Well, you said your friend spent, is it okay to say how much he spent?
Yeah. He said it on the show.
$16,000 this guy decided to go first class all the way. So, my expectations would be so high with those kind of expenditures. But for me, I got paid to go there. These were paid gigs. Let's roll some more photos. So there was nothing to complain about. Oh yeah, so this was one of the many dinners that we had. This place was the Italian place Jimmy's, which you actually get charged to go in. They try to make it like that's a nice place. Now I did notice that the upper echelon of bands dine at the places like this too. Most of them don't go out to the main
They don't
what do you
deal with
call
the
this?
riffraff.
Yeah, the main buffet or whatever, which
Right.
I was totally at. I love buffets. I like to make huge fucking plates of what I want, you know.
Right.
But this was the nicer place we went to. Now the funny thing is, like, Susan would she's like, I want to take you out. I want to take you to the nice place, and I'm like, okay. Now the way that they work the billing and stuff, you get a C pass, which is basically like a room key
Okay.
that gets scanned.
Right.
Like if I go to Starbucks, they'll like scan it onto there, and now I have a credit card hooked up to that, and it's just
Okay.
going to bill it to my card. And so they have the room number, I'm under it, and then she's my guest, and they do have her name as well. But I think she had just told them, you know, yeah, it's Susan, and gave a room number or something, but she never like gave them their card. So
Right. Okay.
a little side note that this dinner's getting billed to my fucking card.
So she took you out and you paid for
Right,
it.
right. Now, when
Nice.
we first went to this dinner, we were excited because we were still, I think, at the port of Haiti, and it was
Sure.
a beautiful view behind us. But then, right as we sat down to dine, the ship took off.
Okay.
So we were back to just water, you
Nice.
know, again, which you wouldn't know where we were. But this was like a nicer little atmosphere
Okay.
going on. And well, I saw the Kicks band came into there while we were dining, and also Jason McMaster was in there,
Right.
and he's super cool. He did wave hi to
Yeah.
me, and Susan and I were just enjoying a nice candlelit meal there.
Sure.
The food was okay, you know. If you're a fan of Olive Garden, you'd love it. You know,
Well, considering it was bought for you with your money, you should have loved it.
that's right. Well, Susan did when she added a $25 tip onto
Oh,
this.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
They already charge the gratuities automatically on
Right.
there. It's like automatically a 20% charge on everything, I think. So if you want to pay even more on top of that,
Oh,
you're
boy.
welcome to, and that's what some people do. So she's like, "Oh yeah, putting a big old tip on there, going to my thing." And
So it was $100 tip on a $75 meal.
it was about. I kept telling her, I'm like, "Will you check your card just to see what's going on there?" Because
Right.
I keep getting like hundreds of dollars of charges on my shit while we're out here, and she's like, "I'll check it when I want," you know, or got into something. Yeah, she knows how to play the game.
Yeah, she accidentally did this.
It was like day 3. I finally go, okay, I'm definitely getting charged for your drinks that you're having so much fun ordering around the ship that are like $10 a pop.
Too funny, man. Well, here, let's go to another one. We saw that
We
one.
saw that one. Okay, so now this kind of lets you see how small this peninsula is.
Right.
You know, it's a little tiny toe.
Oh,
on
is
the
that's
peninsula
the
of
whole
Haiti.
thing? That little
That's-
green spot there?
Yes, that where you see the
Okay.
huts. It almost reminds me, like in San Diego, we have somewhere called Paradise Point,
Okay.
which has been around a long time. They even used it for TV shows like Fantasy Island and stuff for
Sure.
shots back in the day, where they have like a bunch of palm trees and they make it look like Hawaii in our little part of San Diego. And this kind of reminds me of that. Now, Royal Caribbean totally run this little thing right here.
Right.
And again, no passports getting shown. It was like, just take your C pass and they scan it when you step off.
Sure.
You walk down that long dock like you saw me and Susan on, then you're on this thing. So it's totally safe. It's not
Okay.
like you're in the jungle or something all of a
Right.
sudden stepping off there.
Unless
Totally
some
controlled.
stranger pulls you into those woods back there.
Right. There's really no reason. It's just like a big circle. And as you like navigate towards the back of it, it just becomes shops. And then,
Right.
you know, you're kind of checking out the goods of these
Sure.
folks. And, you know, of
Buy
course,
anything?
Susan bought a couple little knickknacks, which was nice of her because you do feel obligated,
Sure.
you know, to buy something. Like, if you buy something and improve my quality of life, sir, you know, they say these things to you and you're like, oh shit.
All right.
Right.
Here
No,
you go.
you know, sitting on the yeah, that was my cool Monsters of Rock Cruise artist pass.
Look at that.
And I was on the high seas as an
Fancy.
artist.
Did you
I've
see
arrived.
any wildlife in the water? See any dolphins or sharks or anything?
Negative. There were some cool birds, you know.
Right.
Now, if you look on a map, this basically leaves off the coast of Florida. It passes Cuba and then
Okay.
heads down to Haiti and just basically circles back.
Okay. That's
So
cool.
there's not too much to see.
Yeah.
I always wondered what would happen if there was like pirates or something, but I'm sure our Coast Guard's totally nearby, right around those areas. You
I
know, or the
guarantee you there's a weapon or two on that boat, too.
yeah, you got to wonder. There's got to have some cool shit they
I'd
bust out.
imagine they got something. They ain't just floating out there, you know, with a bunch of people with a bunch of cash on them saying, yeah, just don't, nobody will rob us. We're out to sea. I'm
Now,
sure
mind
there's
you, as other people have said too, there's no hostility amongst the Monsters of Rock people,
Sure.
likely because they're older. You know, you don't
Mhm.
see too many younger people, and
Not even when people got drunk, like later in the day.
you know, they were all, I have to say, happy drunks.
Okay.
Right? I didn't see any angry drunks. I think I'm the
Sure.
only angry drunk around there. No, I have to commend everybody though. It was pretty cool that you don't see any of that.
Right.
There
Very
was only
cool.
maybe two times I thought there was going to be some kind of like confrontation with a woman, of course, because you know
Right.
they can be whatever. The first one was one of the best confrontations ever because it turned out to be a cool friend that we met.
Okay.
Right when we pulled in, when you're waiting for your rooms, they start bringing out champagne and
Sure.
beers.
Okay.
And
Nice.
holy shit, I started getting fucked up. I didn't even plan that. But as we were, she went to go get champagne. I go, okay, I'll get a table. And I went over and I think I put my bag near a table that was there. And at the same time, what turned out to be our new friend Laura, at the same time went over and kind of took the table. And so I was about to say, hey, bitch, that's our table. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she was kind of feeling that same thing. But I go, oh, I will go, that was our table, but no big. I'm like, join us. You know, she's like,
Nice.
oh, yeah, I guess I could join you at my table. And I'm like, well, my table, you know, it was like kind of one of those.
Right.
But this lady ended up being super cool, and like within about 5 seconds I was like, she's a rough lady, but like one that's
Yeah. She got
is
over it.
loyal.
Yeah.
No, she's loyal and probably an awesome friend if you give her a
Okay.
chance. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
And definitely that's what she turned out to be.
Sure.
Because as we mentioned from previous shows, remember Stevie was just riling me about not taking any
Booze.
well, not
Weed.
booze, but
Weed.
yeah, you know, any smokables and edibles, anything. He basically made it like an episode of Locked Up Abroad on this, and I felt so jinxed that I literally brought nothing, which was
Okay.
very strange. Now, definitely, if I was going to Europe, I wouldn't take anything either. But this thing, I just had a feeling. I'm like, how harsh could the security be? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like it's no longer a cruise for fun if that's the case. You know what I
Right.
mean? And as I suspected, it was less security than you typically have at the airport.
All right, but let's ask the question. You were outside a couple of days. You're out on the pool deck or whatever. Did you smell any weed?
No, I did. Yeah, pretty much on night one I saw that. But you know, anyways, our friend helped me out right away. You know, so that was amazing. That's where it was just serendipity. You know, I'm like, yes,
Right.
this was a person I was supposed to meet.
You're like, this is my good friend.
Right. And that definitely saved the day. And then
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
people had turned me on to a couple things, but it is no big deal as long as you're not stupid about it. I mean, I
Okay.
wouldn't take any flour for that
Right.
reason, you know, because something like that would smell. But nowadays they have these other options with
Sure.
vape pens and
Yeah.
edibles where you could totally, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but it was not
Right.
a big deal.
All right.
So,
Hey, look at that. There you are on stage.
right. So anyways, this is our first show that we did in the Royal Theater. And this
Okay.
actually happened early. It was like a 4:00 in the afternoon show on day 2.
Okay.
Okay. Crowd was great. And it was a short set. We just played an hour.
Okay.
On drums, Will Hunt.
I heard
from
good things about
Evanescence.
his performances on the boat.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, he's really good. And he does something we haven't had any other drummers do before, where he has these triggers that he uses.
Okay.
That he sends a feed to the house and to the monitors and stuff.
Right.
And they just sound really good. And they sound big.
Okay.
And, you know, part of Rat's sound, Bobby Blotzer always had a huge sound on the drums and took a lot of care into putting that in. And these kind of just automatically gave Will that sound.
Okay.
Which was welcomed, you know. But, you know, at the same time, Scott Coogan, I don't know if anybody heard, but Ace Frehley, he's back with Ace Frehley all of a sudden.
That. Well, hey, got to make your money, man. And you know, whether it's Steven or Ace, those are both good gigs.
Right.
So obviously,
he was
the guy
always
can play drums.
he always loved being in Ace's band, and he was really good in Ace's band. That
Sure.
classic lineup they had. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the rest of the members, but I'm happy for him, of course.
Sure.
I think he still may play some shows with us.
Okay.
And Will's still in Evanescence, so I'm not, we might be going between those two guys. I don't even know.
Whoever's there, you'll be happy, right?
Right. Somebody shows up, one of those two guys shows up.
As long as they don't hand you a pair of drumsticks and say, "Here, get to it."
Right. But
Nice.
yeah. Oh, this is another shot of the water in the Caribbean, and this is like the beach where I live. Not to sound ungrateful, because I love living right here on the water here in San Diego,
Right.
but it is there's so much pollution that gets dumped in there, and sewage and weird stuff. It looks like somebody pissed in our ocean. It's just constantly foamy and weird.
Right.
This, on the other hand,
it's just clean.
Very clean.
Yeah.
And we do have the one video, the crab video.
I can pop it.
Oh, yeah. So this is on the beach. You're on the beach of Haiti, and this is a crab. I don't know what kind of crab, but he was cruising along. And I thought it was cool, and I kind of do a pan out here so you can see it from the beach. You have to pay to go sit in those huts. There's Susan. That's a big zip line right there, by the way.
Nice.
It's me in disguise.
Got the hat on so nobody recognizes you again.
Now you see that guy. I don't know if you saw, there was a guy walking with a lifeguard thingy, but he kind of but he kind of carries it like a machine gun.
Right.
It's like I got those vibes. Like it was like there wasn't any armed security, but the way that they carry those life preservers is like he usually has a machine gun strap, but today he has a life preserver.
Sure.
Yes. You can tell the ocean's beautiful and clean and clear, crystal clear. So anyways, if you try to go any further than getting your feet in there, this dude will run up and
get you,
yell at you.
Nice.
You get out. And it's like, oh shit, no, don't shoot.
Like,
don't
easy,
shoot.
Chief, easy.
Yeah. He's like, wait, I can't go in. Now, you don't really want to. I mean, it did look kind of like a little rip current, and it did drop off really quick, and it didn't look friendly on the feet. They had a lot of rocks and broken shells and stuff. Like, I don't know if I'd even want to go out there, but they yelled at you to come back in. The most you could do is just dip your feet and say you dipped your feet, and that's it.
Right. Hell yeah. Go back to the photos. There you are again.
Right. So here's another health conscious breakfast I'm having.
Yeah, what do you got there? Waffles, eggs?
Fuck it, man.
You got
I'm on cholesterol medication. Why not put it to work, So yeah, I got like a big waffle there with syrup.
Look at it. It's like, holy shit, you got a bacon, eggs. It looks like some kind of egg sandwich or something.
Egg mix sandwich there. I got a fucking biscuit and gravy.
Too funny.
And she's pretty good at putting a modest. I should follow her lead on it. She puts better. You can see
you're like, fuck it, I'm on a cruise.
Yeah. But that's basically what there is. Now, there's spots in the dining room that do have that view, which is nice. So you can do your own buffet and just kind of walk over. There's always somebody like leaving one of those window seats. And if you're cool, every time we went, somebody's dishes were still on there, but I didn't give a shit. I'm like, I want this seat. And we just moved their shit over. And pretty quickly somebody does. They do have a really sweet staff, I have to say. Like all the staff that was working in the rooms are very, very nice. And they know your names and stuff. They're like, good morning, Susan. Good morning, Erik. And it doesn't matter where. It's not just in front of your room too. Wherever they see, it's almost like, oh, okay. Now, do you see? You have those origami pigs?
They're here somewhere.
There's two of them.
Let me find them here.
Okay, so not only does this guy know your names, but he's got time in your room.
Yeah,
they want to find out when you're leaving so they could go in there and do weird shit. And one of them is make origami out of towels. No, but I thought that was pretty cool. And there's a second one.
Did you actually see them make this shit?
No, that's what made it creepy. It's like,
dude, I saw him do it on the cruise I went on. Believe it or not, to make that probably takes 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Because they do it all the time. They're just like boop, 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 boop,
and then,
boop, and it's done.
The rest of the time they could rifle through your shit.
Yeah, exactly. You know, pulling your
That's
hard
just there
drive
to
from
make
your
you think
laptop.
that he wasn't rifling through your shit.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
he's
look
like,
at all the
no,
work
I
I
was
did."
busy making origami
That's
turkeys.
right. That's right. And then there's
Right.
that
And
one.
then now this is where I was like, okay, wait, you're touching my sunglasses now? No. Yeah. No, it's actually pretty awesome.
That's cool. Now let me
That's
ask the question that I asked Neely this question too, and it only just reminded me because I see the remote. Did you watch any TV at all?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They had like
Really?
there was a cool movie night that had like all rock movies going, and I was in heaven,
Okay.
man. It started with like the Ramones, Rock and Roll High School.
Right.
Then it had Rockstar.
Okay.
And there was some other one too. So I did like a movie marathon of that. And then as a grand finale, They Live, John Carpenter.
Nice. All right. So
One
you
of the best conspiracy movies of all time.
now, admittedly, this was at least focused on the cruise. When I went on my cruise, again, I don't think we even turned the TV on. I mean, it was just I didn't want to spend any time in the room. I wanted to be out doing stuff.
Right. As you should. And most people when they go, that's what they're all about. They really take it serious. Kind of like when people go to a convention and ahead of time they know
Right.
exactly what autographs they're going to get, who they're going to see. It's the same thing. These people know exactly what bands are going to see on what days. They rush back and forth.
Right.
Sometimes they overlap, but the cool thing is everybody plays twice, so you'll definitely get a chance to go see the band you want to see at least once.
Sure.
We had a really good turnout for both our shows. We're
Okay.
fortunate for that.
Well, you played as a sweet spot time on the pool deck too, didn't you? Like 10 o'clock?
Right.
That's
But
nice.
I was a little worried because Faster Pussycat was playing at the same time in another spot too, and they're a
Okay.
fun band. So
Yeah. Yeah, but still, Stephen Piercy from Rat, people are going to go to that.
right.
People are going to go to that over Faster Pussycat. Not that I'm knocking Faster Pussycat. I'm just saying Stephen Rat was a much bigger band than Faster Pussycat. I mean,
I
you
saw
guys were,
Faster Pussycat, I think, open for Rat on the 91 tour with Ellie
I
Guns.
mean, for did you see a lot of people that were from other countries? It seemed like
Mostly, dude.
really.
Yeah,
Most-
it was
most
cool
of them-
though. It made sense because, for American bands, this was a great chance to see a lot of them all at one time.
Right.
So even if you paid a couple grand, $3,000 or whatever to come out to it, you're seeing them all. You're hanging out with them. The experience. There's this one dining room for artists, but they also it might also be for people that paid into some package. But they
Okay.
get seated with the band. Like I didn't even realize that was happening. Like Susan and I went to sit at a nicer place one night. We sit down.
Sure.
All of a sudden, this other guy sits down who ended up being cool, Greek dude,
Right.
which we became friends on Facebook. And then all of a sudden, a couple from the Netherlands
Okay.
sat down, and there we were. It was fine though. There was everybody on the ship's very outgoing, so it wasn't awkward as far as conversations or anything. And you enjoy a nice like 3-course meal or 4-course meal that they provide
Sure.
there. But yeah, you're seated with other people. And
It's
then
like one big giant hibachi restaurant.
yeah, they have a lot of tables, but as people come in, they go and fill them up there. We ate there one other time, and I did see the other bands dining in there as well. It's a little
Okay.
step up, to get served and not have to be walking around the buffet.
Sure. Nice.
What else we
Nice.
got here?
Let's see. A couple more pictures here. As you get
Right. Oh, that's Laura. That's our friend we met, and she was super cool. And it was nice because Susan got to go hang out with her a couple times and have somebody else to go hang with. And then when we were playing, Laura came to both shows, and she was with us when we went to see Tesla.
okay.
Too. That was one of the few times I think on night 3 that I just didn't have a hat on and went to that show, and that was a whole different story. People recognize you right away.
Sure. Well,
And
here's you at Tesla.
yeah.
All right, that's it for that.
Yeah. Well, it was like for one thing that made it not go for long is when I'm in the dark like that and I hit record, all of a sudden this big light popped
Oh,
on.
right,
And it was
right.
it's all of a sudden I thought it was very distracting, where it was like, oh, all of a sudden I had a spotlight on us. And
Sure.
I was a little embarrassed, but we were waiting all night for them to play Little Susie because her name's Susie.
Right. Oh, how romantic and cute.
Right. But we went through a lot of acoustic songs, kept thinking, oh, this is going to be Susie. But then it was like Love Song. And oh, this is going to be Susie, but it wasn't. It was another one. But Tesla was amazing. It was funny because they were so good, and every seat in that theater is a good seat, but there was grown men like crying at the thing, man.
Wow. Well, it's probably guys that, you know, they use Love Song as their wedding song or whatever. And
bingo.
Yeah.
Matt, our bass player, which I never in a million years would have guessed this. That was him and Ramel's wedding song.
Really? Was
Love
Song, no?
Love will find a way.
It's a great tune. It's definitely a great tune, and it's even better. I don't know. I'm partial to it, but I love the acoustic version of it on the acoustic jam, the first one, not the second one. But oh man, that's when the whole crowd is singing, and
dude,
they just.
I love Tesla, you know that, and
I do too.
It was sad when you weren't there when Frank Hannon came on our show because that was a big deal for me. But at some point, I had said to Frank, you know, hey, you should go check us out too. And I know I was just kind of teasing. I didn't think he would even go out to see us or something like that. You know what I mean? But I knew I was going to see them, and I did. I'm glad I did. It was an awesome concert. And they played a long time. I feel like they played like an hour and a half, where we only played an hour at our show.
Right.
But anyways, I digress. When it was our time to play at the pool, your buddy Eddie Trunk, who emceed this whole event.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the people know, I'm like totally detached from whatever the CMS's Eddie Trunk, you know, thing. I have really nothing to do with that. I think it's funny, but like I don't care. Like Eddie's my friend, and whatever.
Yeah,
we all
fine.
coincide. Yeah.
I don't hate Eddie personally.
No. But I don't care. Carry on. Say whatever you want.
Right? Oh, we will. Don't worry.
Yeah. But he's always cool to me. I should just say, always, especially in the last since my heart attack, he's always asking me, "Hey, you gonna live through this cruise?"
Right.
But anyways, he was emceeing, so he was about to go MC, and who walks up on stage? But Frank Hannon.
Nice.
He comes walking up, and I'm like, "What?" And I go, "Hey man," I'm like, "You guys were magical the other night at that thing." He's like, "Thanks." And then all of a sudden he walks up, he pretty much pulls the microphone out of Eddie Trunk's hand to say, "Hey, you know, there's a lot of cool bands, you know, on this cruise." I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. But he goes, "This band that's going to play was so important to us growing up. We loved Rat so much, and the songs, and he starts talking about the double solos and everything, that it was like, you know, an influence for him." And the guy actually came up to give his, you know, kudos to Piercy or whatever and bring us on stage. And I just thought that was like,
well, that's cool.
Yes, Kevin Smith, that's about. I just was really amazed that he came up and did that. It was very, very sweet. What a good dude he is.
He's a good dude, and I like that dude. And you know, everybody says Jeff Keith's the nicest in the band, and Jeff is very nice as well. But to me, it's always been Frank. I've been running into. I don't claim them to be friends because I don't know them enough to be friends, but they're the kind that you could easily fall into being friends with because they're just so laid back and so lacking of rock starism. They just seem like regular dudes.
They probably have too many friends, though. I can't.
Probably do.
Me personally, I don't have room in my life, man. Right. As much as I love everybody, I'll always be cool to everybody, but don't get mad, man. There's only like so many minutes in the day. And I don't have a minute for all the millions of people that want to be my friends.
That's right. Barely have enough time to take a call from me.
That's right.
And we're doing a fucking show together.
Barely have time for your little show.
That's right. Well, here you are again.
Right, you're eating again now. What am I eating? What am I eating now?
I don't know. It's another full plate, though, my friend.
Oh man, I got pretty fat by the time we played the pool thing. Yeah. Like I saw some pictures of me and it wasn't helpful that they had kind of just a white spotlight on us out there.
Sure.
It like accentuated all the bad stuff. What's Tikus, bruh? Tikas. Those guys at Tesla are very, very nice people to their fans, and likely anyone for that matter. Pretty much.
They've always been nice to me, and Lord knows Frank Hannon gets extra points for bringing a stripper to an interview. I love that.
Oh, nice. But it looks like here I grabbed some mac and cheese, some steak. That might be some broccoli, which is a nice addition.
Right.
And I think I went and actually made a salad too, and I grabbed a roll. That's kind of even though that looks like a lot of food, that's a modest plate of food for me.
Well, here you go. Here's a comment for you.
Okay. Oh, good.
From
Neely. Oh. We're friends for life, man.
No, he's mad. He's mad at you because I poached you because you were his friend first, and then I stole you.
That's not even. Well, we ended up doing a show together, but Neely and I are totally friends and always will be.
I know you got to say nice things. I get it.
No.
I know you hate Neely.
Yeah, right.
Nice. Let's see. What else do we got here? Another picture.
Right.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah. So this is off. This might have been our first stop, Porta de Playa or something. And this is the view off our room. We are Heart Attack 2 coming up. Hopefully, no, I take that one pill, so I should be able to like coats all your arteries or something. So I should be able to party like a rock star and be fine.
That's right.
But this was our deck right there. Now I will say that people that have the staterooms like we did, the bands and whatnot, once you're out on that deck, it's kind of like restroom stalls,
right?
Where like there's actually you could see the feet of the people next to you,
right?
So you got to watch what you're saying out there, and if you think you're just gonna like bang somebody out on the thing,
patio, no,
yeah, you can see through the glass kind of, so it's not like super duper private.
It's probably because they don't want people banging on the patio, so they put it so that it's not so private.
But it is like you could fall off that thing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a puss. I'm scared of heights.
Okay.
Excuse me, but you could easily fall off or fling someone off if you.
Right.
Yeah. Someone gets to be a bit much. You could. No.
See you later, my now ex-wife. Splash.
No, we kind of like there. We only had a brief period where this pen I was given wasn't working, and we couldn't find the person to help me with it, and I was
couldn't write anything with that pen.
Oh no, I couldn't write anything, and I needed to write something with this pen. A suicide note if I didn't get it fixed. So. Anyways, that was a 12-hour patch of rough seas, but as you can see, my lady had a great time. This was very meaningful for us to go on this, and she was so excited to go. I was really more happy for her, but we were treated so well. You get a room like that, and the beds are really nice. The super comfortable bed. The shower isn't huge, but it's a hot shower. You have a sink there. You're not allowed to bring a hairdryer, which everybody jokes about my hairdryer thing, but I do actually kind of like use a hairdryer to stick this up. This is the color stuff I put in there. But they have a little hairdryer that's part of the drawer in the main room, which is interesting. They have a mirror there, and when you open the top drawer, it has one of those squiggly little hand dryers that I think works at not so bad of a voltage where they would have a problem with you blowing out the cabin electricity.
Right.
But so anyways, that was there for me, which was good, but it was fine for two people. If you're a couple, you could totally work there. And they even have the couch turns into a bed also, and has like a little sheet if you need, if you had somebody, a friend, because there are people that do that. They like split the cabin with somebody. They like pay into it because it's expensive to go, but if you can go as somebody's guest, you can maybe work something out. I think there's a good portion of these Monsters of Rock cruisers that do just that. They have these cabin roommates, and that's how their husbands and wives let them go on these things for that reason. Hey, I'm going to be rooming up with so and so and so and so.
This guy from Georgia or wherever. Hey, here we go.
Right.
The last thing we got from you is.
The last one's a little late.
What's going on here?
Okay. Let's see, they got some military people that knows. What's going on here? These are the Labadee Solid Gold dancers.
Are they awake?
Yeah, they're they start to kind of lock in.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did feel like they were kind of annoyed to be there and do this, and that obviously they likely put on their regular street clothes and get out of there. It's just probably a gig for them. But
yeah, they're feigning fun, but they're not having any fun at all.
Now, if you look beyond where they are, you had mentioned on the last show about, hey, get off the boat, go enjoy some Haitian cuisine. And I was like,
Yeah.
hey, you lost me at Haitian cuisine. What do they eat? You're like, each other.
Right.
Well, what this was it was very controlled in the sense that it was a continuation of the buffet from the boat. Like they cook burgers and hot dogs there under that hut and have some like kind of barbecue-y kind of thing going on there, but it's from the Royal Caribbean ship. It's not like the people of Haiti.
Right.
But I didn't eat that shit because it was like 90 degrees out there. That you do not want to eat that food out there. That would be a
Right.
no-go. That was
I
a
hear you.
no-go.
Nice.
And I was also very concerned about, being in the sun too long. I'm glad we got in when we did, like, because even though I was wearing a hat, like I want to have hair covering the back of my neck. So I had like a towel that I put over my neck. Luckily, I mean, I saw some people that got fucked up, man, from the sun. Just like some fair people that stepped off the boat and you could just see the splotchy red burn on some of them were musicians that had to play.
Right on.
So yeah, that was it. The unenthused solid gold Labadee dancers.
Nice.
For the finale.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude, we're gonna switch gears right here real quick. We're gonna go straight to this guy right now who just popped in. A lot of you, including myself, have seen this guy perform a zillion times with Kid Rock. He's got a new band, or a newish band, I'll say, called LETRICK OLSON. Have a new single out called Willow, and here to talk all about all of it, this guy right here, Mr. Kenny Olson. Hey, man, how are you, man?
Good to see you.
Hi, Kenny.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. Man. Good, man. Good to talk to you, man. It's as I'm sure you heard me say just a second ago, I've seen you play a bunch of times back in the Kid Rock heyday, man. I mean, here in Cleveland, you guys came through a lot, and as a giant Kid Rock fan, I was always willing to get out there and see you, man. And it's great that you're finding, like, I don't want to say life again, but you're finding your way to the spotlight again with this new LETRICK OLSON, with the single, and then I'm assuming new music. So why don't we start there, man? Talk a little bit about this project. It seems like it, and again, this is me reading, but it seems like it's like a bunch of friends from Detroit that kind of make music together, and now it's sort of turning into something bigger. Is that close?
Yeah, I guess, I've been, it's hard to say because I have so much different stuff going on. I've been,
right.
Back and forth between Detroit and LA. I was in Nashville for the last decade, and now I'm back in Detroit doing some stuff there, but I'm also doing a couple supergroup things out in LA with like Steve Perkins and Norwood Fisher from Fishbone and Scott Page from Pink Floyd, and I'm in like Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction, and we and Roberta Freeman, Derek. We a whole bunch. I've been doing that for years, but now I'm back in Detroit, and
now you're back in Detroit.
There
you are. Oh, there he is.
Now that I've been back in Detroit years, I've got a documentary, and I've got doing my own new solo record right now, and I'm doing a documentary with all these different people calling it Beautiful Mistakes. But in the midst of all this, Aaron and I, I guess about years ago, Aaron and I have been friends for a long, long time. And, and we did a cover for, just for shits and giggles that came out amazing of Led Zeppelin, Thank You, years ago, with some of the supergroup that's on this track, Same, and Jason Hartless, drummer, and Kevin Chown. And, unfortunately, a year and a half or so ago, it was Aaron's girlfriend was killed in a car accident.
Right.
And so he came to me and said, I've got this song that I've written that, it's like, it was part of his like healing, it was like this amazing song. So I myself, along with Jimmy Bones, legendary keyboard player with Kid Rock, Twisted Brown Trucker, and my double OG brother, soul brother. So him and Jason and Kevin came along again to play bass and drums on this track, and we just it was such a heartfelt song, but that our emotions, we all just dove into them. I'm usually I do all kinds of music of different moods, but a lot of my stuff this was like a really deep song, and so we all poured our hearts and soul into it, and it came out to be a really, really, really good song. So because of that, we've I've got so many songs and ideas floating around that we've are going to do some more.
Sure.
We already have like 3 or 4 in the works right now, and but it's a supergroup, Detroit supergroup, so it's kind
Right.
of one of those things where everybody in the band is on tour with somebody right now, so
Right.
but it's exciting. Aaron's a great singer, a great songwriter, and like he really came to us with a pretty heavy, heartfelt song,
Sure.
idea. So it's definitely because of how much rewarding that was for us to get together and do that. I know we plan on doing more.
Sure. Well, let me ask you about that real quick. When you work on something like that is so amazingly personal to Aaron, obviously,
Yeah.
what kind of pressure does that put on you to match the emotion that he's going for with the message and the words and everything? Does that put extra pressure from a general when you would sit down and just write a song with a group of guys?
Well, it really somehow I've been, it's really weird. I guess I don't know. I've had this, like sometimes a song like that where I've been able to just kind of like leave my body when I record it, kind
Okay.
of thing, and really feel like I'm like an R&B singer singing like my heart and soul out over it, like in a gospel church choir, or something where I'm just able to do what I do, and I've it's a very rewarding, like it's satisfaction musically wise. It's like something that I don't know. I guess I learned how to tap into a long time ago, and some other music that I've done. I mean, I just did a song with a guy who's has 2 Purple Hearts from the Marines. He was honorably discharged, and he came to me with these songs that were same thing, really, really deep, stuff. And the same thing happened in that song that happened when I did with Aaron, where I just went to do my thing on it, and I just left my body and kind of came back and had to catch a breath and go, wow, what did I just do? Let me hear that and go. And I'm like, wow. Because there's something about being able to, musically, if you're thinking too much when you're recording something, or, you're over analyzing songs and just not letting it just breathe. Of course, playing to the song is first and foremost, because you don't want to be that person making racket that doesn't belong somewhere. You want to give to, contribute something. But for some, my life, like a lot of everybody's, we all have our ups and downs, and downs are stuff that we a lot of times sweep under the rug anyways, or just kind of tuck those feelings somewhere deep down inside. So I'm always, open to it's kind of weird, because it's almost like this weird channeling spiritual thing that it's exhausting when you have to do songs like this, because it takes so much emotionally out of you. But it's, for me, I like mixing it all up, because the next day I could be in the studio with shenanigans and cracking jokes and just writing something really funky and just off the wall, where people are like, oh, what the hell you guys even talking about? I don't know.
Right.
Cool.
Nice. Is this the kind of song that you would not want to play live, because it would continually stir that emotion again and again and again?
Oh, no, we've played it live.
Okay.
We've done it. We did 2 charities recently, 2 benefit concerts where the All-Star Band came together. I mean, we're like functioning where we can go do shows right now. We have we have originals. We got it's like an all-star band thing. It's just kind of the song just had its own magic to it, to where it was, let's get this song out now because it's relevant. I mean, they're going through still the court stuff,
Right.
this whole thing, and it just I think even for the family and everything, I've met the girl. I never knew her myself.
Okay.
But I've heard just all amazing things about her, and then you feel like you know her. Yeah, I feel like I did know her really well. I've met her friends, her mother, her father, and I think it's been therapeutic for all of them too. And then
Right.
Silvio Ciccone, who's one of my partners in the recording studio and all the stuff we're doing in Detroit, he did the video,
Okay. Right.
and I don't know if you've seen the video or anything.
Yeah, we're going to play a little of it when we wrap this up, but man, the video is absolutely powerful, man. Wow.
Yeah, it is. That was all shot up here in northern Michigan.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was either do like the full band thing, but everybody was kind of busy too doing their thing, and
Sure.
Aaron we just said, yeah, come on up to northern Michigan.
Right.
So it was but no, it was definitely it's just one of those songs that, and I think when people heard it too, I was just kind of but we didn't do it for that's what I think is one of the special things about the song, is that we didn't record and be like, oh, let's make a smash hit and get it out on video. It's one of those songs where like, let's just make the song the way it's supposed to, the way it's just, let it just come out,
Mm-hmm.
and for those intentions. I don't think that when we first did it, there was any intentions of it even getting, I mean, obviously the traction for it, but it was just like, let's just make the song.
Sure.
Let's make these songs and not try to force the whole situation. And I think there's just so much magic within that, this particular song that, and all the stuff.
Back in black.
Come on back, Kenny. There he is.
Yeah, here I am. I had a call coming in.
No problem.
But yeah, I'm excited of all I got a lot of new stuff coming out. Like I said, we got the guys I'm playing with out in LA, but I want to get down to Cleveland. I love Cleveland. That's
Absolutely,
where I've got a lot of good friends there, and we did a lot of great shows. Cleveland was very supportive for the Kid Rock stuff, but then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's where we did our first Experience Hendrix date with them.
Right. That's
Dave
right.
Spiro. Dave Spiro is like a big brother to me, and he's he's quite a prominent figure there in Cleveland.
Absolutely. Absolutely is.
He's been like he's family. He's brought me into down to Cleveland, the Hard Rock, for a lot of stuff. They did Eddie Kramer's exhibit there and all the stuff that he did, and he had me and the guys from the James Gang. I was like Joe Walsh for a minute,
Right.
I had like the ultimate dreams. I can't complain. Through the years, all these legendary people that I've grown up listening to, I've got to play with a lot of them and record with them, play shows, and become friends with.
And that's the unique thing about your career, man, is when you look at it, I mean, like right now, it seems like you're very comfortable doing, stuff with friends. And if it grows into something, cool. But this is coming from the highest of heights. I mean, obviously the big Kid Rock record, which you were a part of, what's that, 20 million sold or whatever, I mean, as big a heights as you can possibly get, but it doesn't seem, at least to me, it doesn't seem like you're just reaching to find that again, which a lot of musicians can't get comfortable past that type of a height. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I love I don't even know any better, really.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever retire from making music. I think it's just part of who I am. And I don't think that's why I've never been able to really, like one project is not. And plus, when you get my age, like I got this stuff going on in LA, but Perkins still has Jane's Addiction, Pornos for Faros, Norwood Sliss, Bone, and Scott Page is all over the place, and I think he's in Italy right now. And the same with I have my own Kenny Olson band here, and I've got, my main guys that do that with me here that I've been writing and recording with, and but sometimes I even have to rotate that a little bit. and even with my Beautiful Mistakes thing, it's like, yeah, I have a lot of special guests for that. So it's you know, but to me, I mean, you know, my kids are grown now, and I'm still young enough to get out there, and I mean, I ain't scared.
Right.
You know, sometimes it gets tiring to travel, but I have so much music of my own that I want to get out, and just so many people I still want to collaborate with, and you know, as you get older and time passes by, and you lose your friends, your family, and you realize how precious time is as you start losing people in your lives. And my mission is to make as much music. I think I've got better music in me right now, tenfold than anything I've ever even done up to this point. And I plan on doing that because I still want to be. I want to be more of a rock star if I live to be in my 80s. I want to live like beyond a rock star lifestyle then, because you can get away with everything. You can steal someone's car and get pulled over by the cops and be like, "How'd I get here?"
Yeah, they're less likely to check you for drug smuggling too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't even have to take your shoes off if you're born before 1940 or something.
Yeah, and I just tell them I got a prescription for all this. Right?
That's right.
Very nice.
But,
So Kenny, what's your timeline on having music out, man? I mean, are you trying to put out a full album of something this year, or is it just kind of when you have time you do it, and then when it's done, it's done? I mean, what are you looking at?
both. Well, because we just started that, we've got this new building that we're renovated and put the recording studio in.
Okay.
I've got tour dates this summer, but I've also left enough time open to play golf. I mean, go in and record a record. I've got a whole lot of stuff that's near completion, and yeah, I mean, the sooner the better, because I've got so much that I want to get out that I don't want to wait any longer. But I'm also, looking to, now that we've got this song Willow out with Aaron, we plan on getting the guy now that I have the recording studio. It's just like, come on over. I mean, there's some great people that helped along the way with that thing. We'll still be collaborating, there was other people that had efforts in the song, like Chuck Elcasey, and there's another good friend of ours who's
Sure.
got a Pearl Sound. He did a lot of the tracking of everything. Silvio, the guy who did all the videos, Silvio Ciccone, my partner, he did like some of the engineering as well. And everybody just kind of wanted to help out. It wasn't like an ego thing. Oh, let me do all this, let me do all that. Everybody did an amazing job at just really participating and making the stuff happen. But now we've got a playground to at least be writing in and getting all these ideas down.
Sure.
So,
Are you one of these guys that has 9,000 riffs on a phone somewhere that every time you think of something, you record it and you just kind of keep it in your mind somewhere?
I have to. If someone read back through my phone, they'd think I was crazy, because I just even like a little quote of me saying something where I just say it and thing, and then I just, because they'd probably be like, "The fuck's he even talking about?"
There's two things I have on my phone. One is like a bunch of farts,
Yeah.
and the other is like me recording Susan snoring to prove that she snores also.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff. That's more like, I have, like a lot of my videos on my phone are booby traps and stuff that I've sat there like a little kid patiently waiting for someone to come through the door. I had this house with this foyer in it, and even an empty cereal box would drop on someone's head,
right?
And it sounded like a cannon going off. It was like I put it in slow motion, and then like put songs to it and stuff. I had I do stupid things like that, and people look at my phone. What's this? And I'm like, oh, this is,
Have you got into making reels, Kenny? Do you do reels on your social media or anything? The
Yeah,
short videos?
I'm learning the whole Instagram thing. I've done a few, but the more of them have just been like playing stuff. But I mean, everybody's all so me and social media where
Right.
as I'm going to get used to it, more comfortable with it, I definitely will probably be, putting some more comical kind of things up there
Right.
too, just lighten the load, for everybody and not
sure.
make it all about, intertwined with the stuff. I mean, I did put one thing up there where I was feeding my friends chickens, and I just was like, made a little reel like on Chick Fest,
Yeah. I did a pelican today. I was like, in a world full of pelicans, be a pelican. And then it had this
Yeah,
pelican that's
see?
on the pier that was kind of cool, like just a short thing, but it's fun to express yourself with it. I
Nice.
guess.
Pelicans are awesome too. I remember when I first moved to California, I was living before I moved to LA, I was in San Diego.
Right.
I am.
And they had this really bad storm with these like insane winds. And my new neighbors that were like recruited me and a couple other people that didn't really know how to capture a pelican to save it, because I'm from Detroit. So what do I know about
Right.
catching pelicans? Next thing I know it, I'm like, they had because the pelicans were getting flown up, like hitting the buildings and dying. So they were,
Oh man.
so they were catching them with sheets, and then like veg sheets. They fly them, and then they go into this garage, and they all would just sit there in the garage. They knew that everybody was trying to help them. They weren't.
Right.
They were all just in there like it was like a little rescue, like place for them all. And they're all like, just chilling because the wind was so bad. But it was ever since then, I just have an extra love for pelicans. They're appreciative, and they're kind of fucked if the wind is really high powered.
Well, I can certainly say when I was getting ready for this interview, I never thought we'd be talking pelicans.
Right?
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, man. You do have this new single. It is it's called Willow. The band or the project is called Electric Olson. Where should we tell people to go to keep up with you and to get the song and all that stuff?
Well, that is that's where I lack a little bit in this
Okay.
I do have I know that Electric Olson, I know that they've got there's a whole social media behind that. And then it's like on my Facebook, I have a fan page, and then people have to go right to my Instagram, which is like Kenny Olson Official.
Okay.
It's either Kenny Olson or Kenny Olson Official. I think that's Kenny Olson Official. My middle of the road, my regular Facebook, for some reason got shut down, and they didn't believe me who I was to get it back up and going again. So I don't know what, somebody complained and said that I wasn't who I was.
Lovely.
And I'm like, really? Okay. Then who am I?
Right.
And it was full. So that kind of like, I was wondering, like with Instagram, like, oh no, you have to have that going too, because your fan page is separate. I'm just like, how does all this? I'm like,
I just want to play guitar.
yeah, take me back to the old days where we like, I mean, everything. You got to be like a rocket scientist to figure out the, anything, like even like statements, everything. It's just it's a whole different ball of wax out there right now. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, it is.
This music industry, and I'm thankful that I got to be, in it in both ways. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm taking advantage of the whatever I can and my knowledge now and the way things are to keep going and never stop doing what I do until I'm not supposed to anymore. But I don't know when that would be, because what else am I going to do? I mean,
that's right.
Right on, man.
God's useful idiots.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny, man, it's been great talking to you tonight, man. We are going to wrap this one up by playing a little bit of the song Willow. If you can't find it on Kenny's page, you can certainly find it on YouTube. So go to YouTube and you can see it there as well. So Here is Willow from LETRICK OLSON and Kenny. Thanks so much for joining us here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you, and much love. And I would love to come back on more and share some more new stuff as we get it, written for whether it's LETRICK OLSON or the documentary or the others on my solo stuff, anything.
Dude,
I'd love
doors
to come
open.
back on anytime, and I definitely want to come down and, because we got Detroit Rock City and Cleveland Rocks. Cleveland.
Well, that door's always open, man. Anytime you want to come back, door's wide open, man.
I love Cleveland, and you guys got it. It's just Cleveland's just something about Detroit and Cleveland. We're related,
Because we spend our whole lives broke and fighting for everything.
Right? I know we're blue. We got that like Rust Belt blue collar funk town, from right on the most beautiful Great Lakes and stuff,
That's right.
It's like we're a little bit of everything,
Exactly. Well, Kenny, man, one more time, man. Willow is the song, and thanks so much for joining us, man. And we will talk again.
Sounds good, you guys, and thank you. Keep my contact, and
we'll do.
Let's send me your guys' info. And let's definitely hang soon.
Sounds good, man. Here it is. It is Willow. It's LETRICK OLSON right here on Chris Akin Presents. UFM is underwear for men. UFM underwear provides unheard of support which eliminates the need to adjust yourself throughout the day. This underwear is the perfect fit for work, athletics, or just day-to-day activities. Shop underwear for men now and never be uncomfortable in your drawers again. Shop online at www.bit.ly/CMSPN-UFM today. Underwear for men.
Do you have the idea for a great podcast, but don't have the space or equipment to produce one? Don't wait another minute. Audio Bay Studios is the best place to produce and stream your podcast live. With 4K cameras, professional equipment and more, Audio Bay Podcasting Studio is the best place to showcase your great ideas. Call us today at 440-539-1150 for more information and to book your podcasting session with Audio Bay Podcasting Studio. Call today.
All right, that is a band called Dieth featuring the one and only David Ellefson. What do you think of that, Erik?
That was pretty heavy, man.
That was the antithesis of the Kenny Olson song, wasn't it?
Right.
We went from one extreme to another. Now, David will be with us in a second. I just texted him, and he's running a couple of minutes late, but he will be here in a second to
I have a Dave Ellefson story of how I first met him.
Okay.
And this, I think, was 2009. I was playing in the band Earshot.
Yeah.
And we were pulling through Arizona, I believe. And at the venue we were at, what would be Dave comes walking out, and right away I said to him, I'm like, hey man, you know who you look like? You look exactly like Dave Ellefson. and he's like, yeah, it's because I am Dave Ellefson. And I was like, oh snap. I'm like, and we took a picture. I was trying to find the photo. I cannot find it anywhere.
Right.
It must be on an older computer. I don't know. But met him
you spent
then.
a week with him last week. You could have taken a picture then.
Well, the only time I was up close, no, right. I did see him at Starbucks once, and I didn't bother him. And then I saw him right at the end when we were leaving. Everybody gets on buses,
right,
to leave out of there. The artists had their own bus. DJ Will from KNAC days, everybody knows. He helped us get our bus, and Dave was there. And again, I didn't talk to him. I just didn't, bug him.
Well, here, you could talk to him now. It is Mr. David Ellefson. There he is.
Hey,
how you doing, sir?
What's happening?
Dude, we just played To Hell and Back, the single, and my goodness, that's some heavy stuff.
I'd say it's going the right direction.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, first and foremost, man, welcome back, my friend. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And we were just talking, Erik and myself, and I don't know if you know Erik or not, but Erik is Stephen Pearcy's guitar player. So,
I just saw you then.
Well,
right, we were on the cruise.
Yes, yeah. Good job, by the way. I caught your show. It was super fun. I stood up on the upper deck back there and watched it. It was super good, man. I like it. So,
thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
He was just telling us that he saw you in Starbucks, but didn't want to come up and talk to you.
No, I didn't want to. I was just like, because I know how it is. It's because you're a very iconic guy. And I mean, when I was thinking about you, I was thinking, how awesome was it back in the day when MTV used your bass line for their news thing? Like that, you had to thought that's when you arrived, when they were like, MTV News, you hear doom, 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 first.
So funny story about that. Two funny stories, right? So first of all, I missed the whole thing because we were on tour. So I have no idea. People like you come up to me all the time, go, oh my God, that bass line. I'm like, did they play it that much? I mean, we were on tour, right? So I missed every time I watch it, they've used the optional one, which is the little DJ scratch, right? Like MTV News, right? So I just figured that was what they always use. But people tell me all these years later, oh my God, it was on every day, all the time. And I remember the first time I had heard it. Me and Dave and Chris Poland had an apartment together that we got. It was over in Silver Lake, and I remember there's kind of, the kitchen was open to the main room. We always had MTV on in the background, and Chris was actually doing the dishes. And there's like a Bowflex. Remember Bowflex? It was like this rubber band. So I'm like kind of on the Bowflex. Gar used to come over with a cigarette in his mouth and lift weights on the Bowflex, but not exactly the fitness guy, right? So Chris, like, it plays, you heard it here first, right? And Chris goes, was that our song? Was that us? Like this moment. And I was like, I don't know. It goes by so quick.
Right.
So then the next time it comes up, it's the DJ scratch. Well, maybe it was just a one-off, a freebie. But, then it turns out it was a thing. So well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, you could have said hi at Starbucks. Probably the only not good time to catch me at Starbucks is like 7 a.m. when we're like, everybody's kind of trying to get with the plan,
our whole lives, you know what I mean? Like the fans don't really know me all that well. Like I put on a hat and no one recognized me. I put a San Diego baseball cap on. Yeah. No one came up to me. Only if I had the hat off did they notice me from the show or Pearcy's band. That was it.
Sure. Yeah. Good way to go incognito. The first night I remember, I went to bed pretty early. I was in bed by like 10:30. So I was up at, 7 in the morning, and it was a ghost town. I mean, the night before it's rocking like a Vegas casino, The next morning at 7 a.m. I was like, what, did everybody jump overboard? Like, where is everybody?
It's good for us at Starbucks though, because no one was in line, right?
I mean, come on. How awesome is it to have like a real Starbucks? Not we proudly brew, but like the real Starbucks, you can use your app on your phone. I was that was like my office. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Just hang out. And was just a great place to chill, so.
I used Susan's gift cards because for the first 3 days she thought she was acting like she was treating me to stuff, but it was all getting billed to my card on the room. So that was like a way, right? So that old trick. So that was her way of kind of paying it back. She had a bunch of like Starbucks gift cards, and they totally took those there. She just like screenshot them. And I took it in there, gave it to the guy, and he was making her lattes. I just get regular coffees. But.
Can I ask the obvious question? Can I ask you, David, the obvious question? Yeah. Why on the Monsters of Rock cruise are they not serving Ellefson coffee?
Well, Larry Morand, who's the promoter, Jeff Scott Soto got me on the boat basically because we did the Sail Away cruise or the Sail Away party, which I was really happy about because, Jeff and I put this album out last October, and I think it was just it was really kind of a crown jewel for me. I thought it was a really great record, and finally got to do something with Jeff. And then, it turns out we're both busy with things. He's super busy with a bunch of stuff, and he was going right into Trans-Siberian Orchestra world. So that just kind of killed any real opportunity for us, to go out and tour it. We were both in Europe in September, like, I don't know, a month in advance of the record. And said, dude, let's just go down and play. My band, our band is from Italy. So I said, let's just go bang out 3 shows down there to just kind of prop it up. And we realized people like the songs, even not knowing them, they were listenable, So when Jeff hit me early in the year and he said, hey man, I think we might have an opportunity to do something with the Monsters of Rock. It was great. Because Larry did the Megadeth cruise. So I knew him from there. I've never done a Monsters of Rock cruise.
Okay.
I've done a ton of, shipwrecks. They also did the motorboat cruise and stuff like that. So I've done a lot of work with them, and all of the cruises are great. I mean, I love them, and so to do another one with Larry was great. And he mentioned, he goes, I don't know, we'll kind of figure something out. Maybe there'll be a coffee thing, blah, blah, blah. And so honestly, it was easier just to show up and play bass, and, because once you start doing the coffee thing and all the events, it's like, now you got to be that guy. And how do you then go drink Starbucks and have your coffee? It's, now you're like, sort of cheating on yourself, So it was easier to just let Starbucks handle the coffee, and I'll handle bass when needed,
Right on. Well, man, you said you had a great time on the cruise, and we've been talking pretty much all night about the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, you're probably the most famous guy on the cruise. I mean,
well, it depends on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, just going through the lineup. I mean, maybe Nuno Bettencourt or Gary because of the Van Halen tie, but if you're not the most famous, you're one of the top 3 most famous guys.
Did you even know that they had a basketball thing up there where Nuno like hurt himself?
I did not. And Pat Badger's been a friend of mine. The bass players, we kind of hang, right? And I know Nuno. It's funny, I have a great Nuno story. So on Countdown to Extinction, right, we're band's getting big, we're starting to move into the arenas, and we're going to play the Worcester the Centrum, which is an arena, right?
Sure.
And it ended up being sold out. And I get this phone call in my hotel room, and we always check in under fake names. I was like Graham Cracker or some fake name like that, right?
Right.
And so the phone rings, and I'm like, hello. And it's pre-cell phones, right? So it's the landline in the room. I go, hello, and this really deep voice goes, hi, David. I said, yeah. Hey, it's Nuno Bettencourt. So we're in Boston area.
Right.
I'm like, wow, this is cool. He goes, yeah, I talked to your management and they gave me your number. So they said just to call you directly. I'm looking for some tickets, to the show. Then he's giving me this whole rap. And I'm kind of going, oh, that's kind of cool. I knew of Nuno, of course. And so I give him tickets. And then, after the show, I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if he's going to be in the meet and greet. And, he's a no-show. And I realized I just got punked. Like this was some fan calling, and I gave him free. I put it. Because one of these. Well, don't put him under my name. Put him under my, my manager. Joe Schmo, right? Mm-hmm. So I do that. So it's so funny. I always. It's funny. I always like had a resentment toward him, like toward Nuno. Like he did nothing. It's like when you have a dream and about somebody and they're a real dick to you in your dream, and then you kind of have resentment toward them. Like fuck that guy, And it's like. They had no idea. So, but I told Nuno that story. I did a rock and roll fantasy camp tour where we were the opening band on and then the tour was Extreme as the headliner and King's X, right? And So I told Nuno, I said, man, I got to tell you this story. We had a good laugh. It was funny, so it was, so that's my Nuno Betancourt story, which
Bravo.
didn't involve him at all, actually. So,
Completely hypothetical story.
Some
Nice.
douchebag name dropping him and scamming free tickets out of him.
Too funny.
But whoever it was, at least they went to a sold out show.
Well, at least they got a good show. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Even if, better that it was like 2 more seats filled, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Could have sold those tickets.
That's right.
Yeah.
well, dude, let me swing it back to the boat, man, and back to where I was going with the being one of the most famous and certainly most recognizable guys on the boat. Can you have fun just roaming around the boat, or do you really get just swamped? Like I just imagine guys like yourself, Stephen Piercy, guys that are famous, but were definitely on MTV a lot.
Right.
I can imagine every single person wants to tell you, there was that time and there was that Megadeth song on the radio, and that's when I met. So, everybody has that story. Could you walk around the boat and enjoy yourself, or?
I could, and it's probably just for some reason I've been blessed with the disposition that I can do that, because I know, there are some that cannot do that and won't do that. And, it's security, it's an entourage, which in itself makes a scene, right? And then people go, oh, I wonder who that is, right? And then that gravitates toward themselves, all this attention that they really don't want, but God forbid that, part of it, I think, is, God, what happens if you leave your room and no one recognizes you,
Right.
That's almost a bigger blow to that guy's ego. Like, so let me make a big stink, walk through and just be an asshole to everyone. Like, you can't touch me. And then after you do it, then you kind of turn around and, that person you for sure is going to feel kind of shitty. Like, oh my God, they were just nice fans wanting my autograph, So, we see this at NAMM. We see that at these public appearances, and it's like,
right.
And some people, for whatever reason, I saw Vinnie Paul one year at NAMM, not long after Dime had left us. Yeah, there's an obvious reason why he would want to have, security and be insulated, right? For the obvious reason. But otherwise, to just sort of, draw this attention to yourself, like I leave my room every day and my cabin on the boat, and I'm prepared to go out and basically know I'm going to have a 12-hour meet and greet in front of me.
Right.
I'm going to walk down to get a pizza, and it's going to be some autographs and some, photos and stuff. So I just kind of brace for it, and I know that's kind of my role. It's like, if, when you get on the boat, be prepared to, I don't like to sit in my cabin and just watch the waves go by. I'd rather be out where the action is, where the people is. And quite honestly, after I did my gig, was it Friday night, the night before the cruise left, I was like, all right, that's kind of one thing done. I knew I was going to jam in the Rare Hair Jam. I got asked by Izzy Presley to be part of the Aerosmith Jam, where like the famous people sit in kind of unannounced with the the cruiser participants who are
VIP
part of this
guests.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of this fun, it's kind of a rock and roll fantasy camp kind of moment, you know what I mean? And I saw a message from someone who was in the band, and they were super thrilled. And so, that's what we do, right? We make people happy. We give them that moment that they can't get anywhere else, and it's an exclusive moment like that. So, I don't know. I kind of look at it like, at this point in my life, that's kind of what I do now.
People are safe though. They have passports.
People's world,
These people all have passports and stuff. Like, they don't have any felonies, and like, to get on the boat, I don't think you have to worry about anybody on there, as opposed to like some rural club out in the middle of nowhere where people they're barely even checking to see if they have weapons or anything. Yeah,
right. Well, and I only saw one guy on the whole boat. I only saw one guy sort of losing his cookies into a garbage can over by the bar. Only one guy who got a little too hammered. And but other than that, it's funny watching Kicks, and I'd always wanted to see them. I've been a big fan. The Midnight Dynamite record was my record, of theirs. Sure. And so I was so happy to see him, and Brian, the guitar player, has become a friend of mine, and even Steve, the singer, was saying, on the boat, like, don't fight, don't be an asshole, be cool, you know. And like he's kind of like making the public announcement, and he's an iconic guy in that world. And
Sure.
so when he says don't be a dick and don't get in a fight and keep your shit together, like people listen, like, oh, okay, I guess all right, we'll do that, you know, as opposed to the old days when we're all young and it's like, you know, fuck that guy, get fight, you know, drunk, you know, and you know, so I think, look, the people who can afford to go on cruises are 40s and 50s and 60-year-olds, and they're kind of over that anyway.
Right.
So it's you know, it's kind of grown up time, but yet, you know, people go harken back to their day. And for me personally, I was a fan of. I wanted to see Stephen play, you know, Stephen Piercy. I wanted to see Kix. I wanted to see Winger. You know, there's some So for me, it was fan time as well. You know, see my friends who I grew up with and see them play. And you know, there's a couple of, you know, real kind of crown jewel moments. I think the one that blew my mind, I was hanging with Will Hunt and his wife. And Will's a drummer.
He played for us.
Plays for Piercy.
He played for you guys. Yeah, exactly. Played for you guys. Plays with Evanescence. It's kind of his day job right now. And he and his wife were at the bar opposite of Starbucks. And you know, Erik, where that is, right? So, and she's going on and on about this band Wigwam. I said, yeah, I saw that. I said, who are they? And oh my God, Peacekeeper, Peacemaker, whatever. There's a show on HBO. And they used this Wigwam song, which is sort of relaunched them. And they're a band out of Norway, kind of like a 90s band, but kind of a throwback to the, you know, kind of, to me, they kind of had a little bit of a sound of like Europe, right? The band Europe.
Sure.
Like that great guitar player, the singer kind of had a little Nikki Sixx in him, which I thought was kind of cool. And we went and saw him. I was like, this band is really friggin' good, man. And you know, in America, we just kind of missed them. You know, they weren't a thing here. While, you know, all the other stuff was going on around us. But, you know, that was a really enjoyable moment. I went and saw him twice, actually. I loved them. And Taiketo, I thought was great. And I certainly have known of them. Our friend Greg Smith was playing bass for him. And Danny Vaughn, the singer, had sat in on a jam that I did with Joel Hoekstra. It's Joel's Hangover Jam. And I tell you, man, they were great. Danny has really taken care of himself. His voice was fantastic. He was a really good storyteller in his songs. And so that was cool. And then to see Chris Holmes, I thought that was a good one. I haven't seen Last time I saw Chris Holmes, you know, Megadeth was one of the fluff bands to help bring the people in to fill the arena for the Rockstar movie. I don't know if you knew this or not. Right. Mark Wahlberg movie.
That was on when I was on the ship. We watched it. It was on the second or third night we were on there. Yep.
So we went to LA to go perform there on the stage, and we were advertised on the radio. Megadeth appearing at the, you know, the arena, sports arena, I think. So we played there, and that was the last time I'd seen Chris Holmes, and he was really skinny, not healthy. He and I always got along well, and you know, and it's funny, him and Robin Crosby, they kind of reminded me of each other because
they look similar.
Yeah, these tall, really domineering guys, and of course they were really kind of iconic guys in the sound of their bands, of course. And so it's just great to see Chris, and you know, he's kind of got this fun, self-deprecating humor. He doesn't take himself so seriously. He's been through some shit, you know.
When he plays, he's got that heavy metal soul, and he has that tone. It's like a little bit of chorus or whatever he puts on it.
Yeah.
And you know it's him. It just takes you back to Wasp Live in the Raw, and it's sick. And he was having so much fun at this, you know. And it was great to see him so much healthier and starting to bounce around, and he could. I would love to see him back with Wasp. I think that has to happen.
And I don't know that'll happen. And I tell you what, how about his? You know, he had this guitar player and bass player from some group out of the UK, and that singer, man, that guy sang the Blackie stuff great. I mean, it was really, really good. And then Chris would sing his own stuff, you know, from his records, and you know, so I thought those were, you know, a couple of highlight moments. Shiraz Lane, who was another band, I think, out of Finland, who, you know, look like an 80s Sunset Strip band, but are young Finnish guys, and they frickin' have great songs. You know, it's nice when you hear a song and see a band that you've never seen or heard, and you stay because every song is really enjoyable, and you can latch on to what it is, and And I'd say for me, probably the other one was Vandenberg, because, you know, before Adrian joined Whitesnake, which is probably where most people know him from, I knew I had that at Vandenberg, that first Vandenberg record that came out in 1982, and they came through town, or nearby me in Minnesota, where I grew up before I moved to LA in '83. They played the Sioux Falls, South Dakota. There's an arena there, and Ozzy was there. Jakey Lee had just joined Ozzy, and Vandenberg was the opener. And I was so cool, man. I told Adrian, I go, dude, how freaking cool, man. Come on, you're back. It's Adrian Vandenberg, you know, and the logo is iconic. So, you know, just George Lynch was great. You know, it's just fun to just sit there and be a fan and just, you know, listen to, you know, River of Love and all the great freaking the Lynch Mob songs, you know.
Hell yeah. Well, it sounds like you had a fun time there, man, but I'm going to change directions a little bit here. I'm going to go to your actual musical project that you're promoting right now, which, God knows, it seems like every month there's a different David Ellefson musical project, but we just finished the Kings of Thrash, I guess, and now we're up to Dieth. And it's Dieth, right? I'm saying it right?
Well, if you're German, it's Dieth. If you're American, it's Dieth. So it's Dieth is really the name of it.
Is it Dieth?
Yeah.
Is that
I'm saying that because in German, you know, it's the I before the E before the I, right? And it sounds opposite.
Dieth sounds cooler. Dieth.
Yeah.
It's Dieth. The last time I had you on, you told me it was Dieth.
I did?
You did.
There's no way.
You did. You did, and I've been arguing with everybody. It's Dieth, and they're like, "No, it's not." I'm like,
"No, it's Dieth."
Yeah,
maybe I just showed you the courtesy because you said it wrong, and I didn't
probably
want to, correct you on the air. You know?
I know,
probably did. But I will say this: this record fucking kills. My goodness, is this thing heavy and brutal and everything I really did not expect, especially just because of the Ellefson Soto record, which, you know, I just kind of thought you were going that direction. Yeah. This thing is an ass kicker, man.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, as you've known me, you know, with the Lucid is a sort of a pillar, and then there's the Ellefson Soto and stuff, and then there's Kings of Thrash, and then there's Dieth, you know, so it's kind of like those are the four corners of my house, my musical house. And you know, the truth of it is, I learned years ago, especially in the late '90s, the Megadeth Risk album, I think, was the best example that, you know, you can't do everything you want under one brand, you know. And now that I'm essentially a free agent, you know, so to speak, I find it better to just be very focused on a sound and a thing within each setting, right?
Okay.
And don't try to do it all under one umbrella. I think it's confusing. You know, people, I mean, like think about any product, you know, you buy anything, whatever it is, a Chevrolet, a Mr. Coffee, whatever, you expect certain feature sets and certain things, right, around whatever that is you're buying, right? So same is true with bands and the sort of the branding of the name, you know, when and I think with the Dieth record, what we were able to do is not just make it a one-dimensional death metal record. You know, as much as it started there, even the very first song we put out in the Hall of the Hanging Serpents, it's heavy, of course. It's got super, you know, heavy vocals and that, but there's a melody to it, you know, and there's a clear verse and a chorus and a solo section, and it's written as a real song, you know, and so we did that with this album. And I don't know if you've heard the whole thing. I don't know if Lee Palm has sent you the, you know, there's a ballad on it that I sing, you know, so I just figured, you know what, fuck it, man. Let's put our Sweet Child of Mine on this record right out of the gate. It worked for Guns N' Roses. You know, why wait till album 3? You know, just fucking widen the gate and put it all on there now. So, and I wasn't expecting to sing on it at all. It's just that I submitted some stuff, and those guys were like, "Dude, you're singing." I'm like, "All right." And you know, I've read the Kiss books, and I'm, you know, reading about Ace Frehley. He'd write songs, and he didn't want to sing, so he'd have Gene and Paul or Peter or somebody sing his songs. You know, Cold Gin and all these huge songs. And finally, they just said, "No, you're going to sing your shit now." You know, and thank God they did. And then he did Shock Me, right? And that, you know, that allowed Ace to be the Ace we know today. He's out. Look, he'll be on Monsters Rock Cruise next year. But now he can go out as Ace Frehley. Same with Chris Holmes. He's singing now. He's doing his own stuff. So, and I've sung some stuff when I've gone out solo, but now to be committed to it, in a recording setting is good. And I think that, I used to be a tenor, I used to kind of be that Michael Anthony high tenor. And as over the years, my voice has dropped. Now I'm clearly a baritone. So I think the tuning of the band sits well with my register and my range, and it's it all kind of just all lined up. So
yeah, well, it is the curveball in the listen when you're listening to the record, and all of a sudden, I mean, it's going 100 miles an hour, and then what's that? It's called what? Walk With Me Forever, right? Is the
Walk With Me Forever?
Because it's all of a sudden it's a true ballad. It's not a.
It is.
It's not a death metal ballad, whatever that would be. It is a true. You're like going 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa.
Check this out.
Well, and that's one of the cool things about this record. Like, I wouldn't even call this death metal personally. I don't. I mean,
agree.
It's more. It's definitely extreme metal, but it's not the full on. It's not. It could be, because obviously the guys that you're playing with are well skilled in that. But
yeah,
here's
interesting thing that I've noticed. So these guys, Mihal, the drummer from Decapitated, Guilherme, guitarist from Entombed AD. So these guys certainly grew up on my music, right? Megadeth, Rust in Peace, and the 90s stuff. Because of their age, that's when they started listening to music. So here I am coming into their world, which is way more extreme, way heavier, different tunings. And I had some experience with it, working with Max Cavalera with Soulfly.
Sure.
I've had bands and done things with Andreas Kisser, more cover band kind of stuff. So not, too much of like Sepultura kind of stuff with him. But I did do some stuff. I actually did play on a Sepultura, I forgot what song it was. It was something they did a couple years ago. They asked me to play it. It was kind of a sort of a celebration of some Sepultura stuff. So I'm familiar with it. I'm familiar with kind of their chord figures and, note choices and stuff and their riffs. But I got to be honest with you, Chris. I'm the new guy in this world. As much as I'm kind of the old guard and the sort of the older statesman of it, I'm like the new guy. So I quite honestly am the student of this music, and it's been really good for me to just, again, broaden my horizons and just be teachable and, to learn what they're doing and how they're doing it, and open myself up into their world, and we do all of our work over in Europe. We do everything in Poland, and we cut a lot of the record in Germany, with Christian Cole as producer.
Sure.
So, and I think it needs that. This is not, we don't come over here and go to the beach in California and make a record like that. I think it needs this sort of dark clouds in the sky, and, it needs that. So it's,
So you want to go to Chris's house to make it. You want to go to where Chris lives.
Yeah.
As you can see, I do live in California.
Your house, I guess, Chris. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Well, look, I live in Arizona. The sun's still out. It's like a blue, not a cloud in the sky. So you don't make great records like this, I think, in the sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You need Norway or Poland or somewhere like that that's just frigid and cold and
cold and dark, and exactly.
I do want to say this, though, about this record. And again, people are going to hear it here. June 2nd is when it actually comes out and when people can hear the whole thing. You've released a few songs, but you haven't released, to me, the song to be released. And not that I'm criticizing or anything, but the song that I think identifies the most with the record, that tells people that it is just not straight a million miles an hour, is Free Us All. Because it goes with that harsh vocal, but then there's the clean vocal, and then it switches back again, and it's such a cool song. It's one of the best extreme songs I've heard this year, man. It's really, really strong.
Thank you for saying that. And it's funny, a lot of people, I've been doing a lot of the press now, ahead of the record. A lot of people have brought that song up because toward the end there's like this Allman Brothers.
Yeah,
thing. It kind of starts out with this swing groove and this walking bass line, and then there's this kind of Aerosmith Sweet Emotion bass vibe that I copped on it. And at the end, it's like, in memory of Elizabeth, whatever, it's the Allman Brothers song. Right. So it's kind of like got all this stuff. And you're right, me and Guilherme take turns on the vocals. He sings most of it, but I do the clean parts. And and it's, you know, which, you know, we kind of throw it all in, and you know, it's fun to do that because again, we're of different ages. We've got different experiences musically. And then to bring all that together and you know what, honestly, I guess maybe it's because we're a three-piece too. It helps, you know,
Sure.
that it's a lot easier to kind of, we could be more nimble and move around on things and, you know, support each other with our ideas, you know, to bring something like that in. I've had my experiences having to expand the horizons in the 90s with Megadeth. You know, we came from Rust in Peace, and by the end of the decade, we were making Risk, you know. So I mean, I've gone the gamut, you know, with managers and label people and producers, you know, putting us and me through the ringer of you know, broadening horizons and making those kind of records. So for me, when people bring in deviations, as long as it's kind of within the confines of what we're doing, I'm all for it, man. I think it makes for a better listening experience. And,
Right on.
you know, the record To Hell and Back obviously has a fitting title. All three of us have gone through some shit, but as has everybody, you know, everybody's gone through shit,
Of course.
you know? And so I think the title's pretty universal. And, you know, it encompasses, it's a story, you know, it's really, we didn't set out to make a concept record, but in a weird kind of way, it kind of turned out to be. At least it's a journey, you know, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to for people to hear it.
Sure.
It seems to be something people are definitely intrigued about.
I mean, it's crazy good, and I'm not just. I know we're friends and all, but you know me well enough to tell you, I would tell you I don't like it. You know?
Yeah, or you wouldn't be talking about it at all.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, oh, so what are you working on after this? You know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, that record, I forgot all about that.
Oh yeah. No, so with this, I mean, these guys are obviously in Poland. Any kind of ability to tour, even if it's touring Europe and not here, or
yeah, we're doing dates. We actually have some dates second week of June, then we go right into the Grass Pop Festival.
Okay.
And we've got some dates in the Czech Republic, France, Portugal. So it's, you know, but it's just with the timing of when the record's coming out, sort of missed the booking deadlines for a lot of the festivals. But,
Sure.
you know, this first album was just, you know, just propping it up, giving the presentation of what the band is, what we sound like. And it seems like every time we put a video out, we get more offers for more shows. You know, people are like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. And we weren't even aware of this. So, you know, part of this is kind of this initial awareness campaign, you know, with this first record to put it up. And you know, we're excited about, you know, getting, you know, writing more stuff. We've already, it's a band that seems to go in these really fun, creative spurts where all of a sudden a new dose of songs come out, you know, a new batch of stuff. So, and now as we're performing together, we've already done some rehearsals, but we're going to obviously rehearse, you know, early June. You know, being in the room together after you've made a record, Erik, you probably can attest to this too. You know, when you're putting songs together, you're one band. When you've gone through the studio process, it creates another band. It raises the bar. The parts are now created. They're forever set in stone as a recorded piece of music. And you commit to those parts, and then you take those parts now, and you that basically molds you into becoming the band that the people will see. And
that's right.
What I've found is that it's, you know, there's a little bit of this kind of stoner doom thing in the sound of the band when we're together that I was not expecting, and I think is very cool. And that's just the three of us in a small room, you know, jamming through stuff, and I'm kind of going, wow, there's this kind of additional element that it sort of came out in the room that I didn't hear it as much in the studio, but I'm hearing it as we're playing together. So, you know, people have asked us like, what kind of music is it? And we've just done this hashtag We Are Dieth.
There you go.
Right. That's what we are, you know?
Yep.
And, that's what it is. We're Dieth. That's
absolutely. It. Now, dude, I just got to ask you one last one before I let you go. And it has nothing to do with the band necessarily, but it's when you texted me last night, you texted me the Monsters of Rock follow-up video to put on the socials. And at the exact moment that you texted me, I'm watching the WWE pay-per-view, and on it was that guy, Bad Bunny, the rapper guy or whatever you call him.
Yeah.
And he made me think of you in the fact that this guy has, 3 Grammys. He headlines Coachella. He's done, he's a music superstar, and he's done what there is to do. But yet he's out there risking his life doing this WWE, jumping around and going crazy. Now, I'm not saying you're risking your life, but you're at a point in your life where you don't need to be doing 14 bands and coffee and movies and all of these different projects. What is it that keeps you doing this stuff? Is it just the love of the game, or?
I mean, honestly, I could retire, and even today I sat around after I woke up and did press all morning. I sat around on my couch and watched Netflix and go, I should probably just fucking retire. I mean, it's like, why do I keep doing this? But, then I'm like, I got to jump on the horn with CHRIS Akin tonight. And here we are, and,
right.
And it's, you see me, I'm lit up, man. I'm excited, and Erik, right. We're on the boat. We're in the midst of stuff that's happening. Music's around us. The people are excited. And to be honest with you, I think it's funny when we were on the Megadeth cruise, Kiko had pointed out, he goes, I'm fed by this stuff. You know what I mean? It's a life force to me,
Sure.
and we're all put on the planet for our various vocations and skills and things that, the creator gave us, and it's like, I think when you turn that faucet off, that's the beginning of dying.
Right.
I think that's, and we live in a different world where we don't work 30 years, get the golden watch, and then we go play golf forever. At least that's not the world I grew up in. And so for me, if I stop doing music, like, what the hell else am I going to do? And it doesn't mean that I got to always, I guess, probably even play professionally and, do all this kind of stuff. But, I love doing it, and all my friends that I grew up with are, they're also famous because they had success, and so when I call them to play on something, they probably have a pretty good track record. And so, I guess the one thing is people, new supergroup. It's like, it's not a fucking supergroup. I called Frank Bello because he writes really good songs and I like him. So we make a band together,
Right.
Metal Allegiance, we call Skolnick and Portnoy and Maggie because, like, we know each other. We're friends, Yeah, they're all famous in their bands, but, like, we hang out and, plug in and start writing tunes the same way we did in our garage bands when all of us were kids,
Right.
So I think I like being around people that have not lost that love of music, the love of, I don't know, let's plug in and see what we can do. And once we start feeling it, it's like we think about, okay, which record company are we going to call? All right, let's get an agent, let's get a manager, let's go. And I think I've always been that guy in every band I've been in. I've been that guy that made those calls and sort of put it all together. And, so, I'm not doing this going, God, I hope one of these takes me to the top again. Fuck, I've already been to the top, got the Grammy over here. I'm good, and
Right.
it really is not about that at all for me. It's just about, I just love doing it, man. I just, and I'm not that good at golf, so may as well do this.
Nice. Nice. Well, you're doing it well with the new record called Dieth. To Hell and Back is the record. It is June the 2nd that it comes out. And David, where should we tell people to go to keep up with you or Dieth or Lucid or?
Sure. I mean, look, DavidEllefson.com is kind of the central headquarters where it all is. Facebook is same thing / David Ellefson or however they do that. Same with Instagram and that. So, and then, obviously every band's got its own thing, kingsofthrash.com, diethband.com, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
Just do a fucking Google search.
There you go. Google, that's your homepage.
Google me.
Yeah, just Google me.
Just Google me. Exactly. Yeah. Well, dude, I figured we'd wrap up with Don't Get Mad, Get Even. It's
great.
It's another pounder in the head with a sledgehammer. But one more time, last time, Dieth, To Hell and Back, out June 2nd. Make sure you buy it. Don't just stream it, people. For God's sakes, buy it. David went to Poland to record it, for God's sakes. Hook him up with $1 or $2 by buying the record, all right? And
it's expensive. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
right. And plane tickets and everything else. So
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Pierogies and everything else.
Exactly. So we're going to end with Don't Get Mad, Get Even. And David, as always, man, it's a pleasure having you right here on CHRIS Akin Presents.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Good to see you, Erik.
All right, bro. Take care, man.
See you, man.
Audio Base Studios is your one-stop shop for all your recording needs. Whether you're a musical artist, podcaster, want to record an audiobook, or have any other audio or video needs, they can all be met at Audio Base Studios. Recording is available 24/7 to accommodate your time requirements. Audio Base Studios is conveniently located at 605 Clague Parkway in Bay Village, Ohio. Visit us online at www.audiobasestudios.com or call us today at 440-539-1150. And we are back right here on Chris Akin Presents. And dude, how fun was that? It was karate chopping fun. Karate kicking fun.
The clan of the foot approves.
That's right. That was fun, man. David's always fun. It's always fun when you interview somebody that you're actually friendly with because it's real loose at that point.
Right.
You know,
I think it's cool to find out that these guys like regular rock bands too. Like that was always a misconception that these dudes only listen to the heaviest of death metal or something. I mean, you heard him talking about how he wanted to see Winger
and Kicks and
Kicks. Which speaking of Kicks, I don't know if you heard, but I saved the drummer of Kix's life.
I did not hear this. What did you do?
Or at least I'd like to think that I did. I don't know. There's when you showed that photo in the theater of us playing, and it had the Stephen Piercy electronic LED screen that you can see back there. That's a big TV screen, and it has a very sharp corner to it. Like if you look behind where I am, there was those Marshall amps there. That thing's actually hanging pretty low. You know, it's like hanging about 6 feet off the ground, or 5 feet off the ground. And when you're walking backstage, you have to be careful. Like I hit my head. Jerry C says, "Hail and kill. David is awesome." Yep.
Yeah. I'm just throwing these up. Keep going. Don't even read them. I'm just throwing them up because people were commenting.
Okay. All good. So anyways, Kix, I think, was playing after us, and the drummer, who's just coming back to play shows after having health problems himself, he had some heart attack stuff, and he's back there. All of a sudden, he just smashes his head on the corner, and I saw him like touch his hand and pull it away. And it was just gushing blood on there.
Oh, wow.
That's when I had to spring into action, Chris. That's right. I had to save this man's life.
That's right.
So I quickly grabbed one of our black towels that we have for ourselves, and I quickly was like, "Put this on your head and apply pressure." And he did. He put it on there, and I'm like, "Now sit down over here." And I don't know. I started feeling like I was like Dr. Ferentinos or something. Dr. Ferentinos. But he was like, "Damn!" I mean, it hurt. It probably hurt like a mofo to hit your head in that corner, you know?
Bad, yeah.
And I even was like, "Are you on blood thinners?" Because I know how it is. Like, I'm on blood thinners. You know what I mean? And he was like, And I'm like, "Yeah, you need to just hold that on there." Because like my cat could kill me with the things I'm on right now. If I get a cut, it just gushes blood. And that was his deal. But then it was like, it was kind of funny because like 5 minutes later, he does it again. He hit his head again. I go, we got to get this guy out of here.
Yeah, no kidding. Damn.
Seriously, he's going to hurt himself. So you're welcome.
Yeah,
sir.
you saved his life just in time.
Jimmy,
Jimmy Chalfant, maybe?
Right.
You saved his life just in time to retire.
I know. Then we find out they're retiring.
Yeah, and then you go to M3 and announce, "Hey, we're done in a couple of months." I was like, wow. Good for them, though, for going out instead of just waiting until it's like whittled down to, Steve Whiteman and a bunch of other guys that he knows calling themselves Kix.
And these guys have been working solid, I mean, for 35 years.
Yeah. I hate to tell you, 45 years.
Yeah.
45 years, and they're calling it a day. And good on them. From everything I've heard, they still sound really good. They don't suck. So they're not gonna. The last memory people have of Kix won't be some sad sack, shitty version of Kix.
That's right.
That's good. It doesn't happen that often anymore where guys actually retire as an intact unit, and it seems like was there just one guy, I think, that's not an original, right?
Right, one of the guitar players.
Like they have like real problems with one guy, Ronnie something.
Right.
I don't know much. Kick's a weird band for me. They were not when their heyday was what, about 88 or so?
Yeah.
Is that about when they were heyday? And that's when I was out of the country.
Right.
And Kicks, there's a few of those bands that were fairly big here that just were not big when I was in Korea. They were not big overseas. And Kicks was definitely, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty comfortable in saying I never once heard a Kicks song the entire time I was in Korea.
They never showed up and played for Bulgogi Night?
No, well, dude, back then, this is how long ago this was. It's no wonder I'm a big fucking Santa Claus beard wearing motherfucker. But because I'm old. Back then, so long ago back then, that the bands didn't come to Korea. They stopped in Japan. They went to Japan, they played the Big Egg in Nagoya, and then went back home. You know, that was as far as they went. They didn't take the extra hour and fly over to Korea. So, like, during the Olympics, they had this big concert. It was like the biggest concert in the history of the country at the time. And it was shit bands. I mean, honestly, it was, I think the headliner was Miami Sound Machine. And it was like Miami, which, yeah, she was scrumptious. But Gloria Estefan. But it was Miami Sound Machine and Jermaine Jackson and
the studio band from the MASH soundtrack.
Dude, it might as well have been. Because I just named to you the big ones. I just named the big names. And then the rest of it was much smaller bands and bands that you never heard of and never will. But and it sold out a stadium because it was the Olympic. I mean, it was the Olympic kickoff event where there was all kinds of weird dancey shit on the floor and stuff.
Did you have the Labadee solid gold dancers?
It was like that. I mean, it was better than that. It was like 1,000 people with umbrellas spinning the shit around and stuff. But it wasn't that. To me, it was funny because the Koreans had no experience with concerts. So they were doing the whole sit down and that thing. But there was one section that had all the military people from we all got our tickets from the USO. And we were all in one section.
Stage diving.
And we were going ape shit. We were all half loaded. We're all in uniform. That sucked. But we were all in our dress greens, or, you know, for the Marines, their dress whatevers. You know, everybody's in their dress uniforms. And we're going fucking crazy. We're all trashed, you know, and we're like American concert people. So, you know, I'm up fucking drunk as fuck in my dress greens, dancing around to "Come on, baby, do the conga." Don't you? You know, that horse shit.
Come on, baby, do the conga. No, it's been any longer.
Yeah, nobody. And believe me, that's about how I was singing it too.
Chris is leading the conga line.
Yeah, really.
To the Bulgogi bar.
Dude, it's the funniest thing. During the Olympics and at this event, they served, and boy, did they learn the hard way. I'll tell you a funny story. They would sell bowls of ramen noodles. And their bowls of ramen noodles 1,000 times better than ours.
Whoa.
I mean, these
we
tasted
have some good noodles here.
These tasted great. This was like fucking delicacy here. But we were at the Roy Jones Jr. fight where Roy Jones knocked the Korean guy down like 4 times and then lost the fight on a decision. God. It was fucked up. And we were sitting right next to Roy Jones's dad, this big monster. You know, we're sitting next to Roy Jones's dad. And Roy Jones's dad had this bowl of fucking ramen noodles. And when his son lost that decision, he just took the noodles and just fucking threw them on some guy's back in the back. And it was hot.
Gave him 3rd-degree burns.
It was hot as fuck. This guy's freaking the fuck out. And then it just turned into a brawl. It turned like, and we were standing there with Roy Jones Jr.'s dad. We're hitting people because they were all coming.
Parker Jr. Not to be confused with Ray Parker Jr.
No, not Ray Parker Jr. It was Roy Jones, the boxer guy. But he could obviously throw a punch or two. He trained his kid. So we're sitting there with him. He's fighting, his couple of people that are with him. Everybody's throwing punches. We're fighting for Roy Jones Jr.'s, like me and my two friends. It was
and you're not worried because you have to go to a military thing. They can't like arrest you in Korean jail. You have
I went to Korean jail a couple times,
but they got to let you go back to base.
I spent 6 days one time. I ended up in the jail for 6 days before they finally fucking found me. Military had to come and find me. They wouldn't let me make a call or nothing. For what was that for? Some kind of I think that was one of those knocking out a cab driver thing. I was such a fucking scumbag.
You're like, keep the change.
No, we would take a ride at like 2 or 3 in the morning with the Korean cab drivers, and they weren't allowed on the base. So it would be like 3 of us, and I would tell them, get out the car and go in. They would get out and they would go in. I'd pretend like I was fumbling into my pockets, trying to find money to pay, like a $3 cab fare or what. I mean, that's the worst part about this story is not that I hit somebody.
Right.
It's that the fare was really like $3. and I would fumble around till my friends were in the gate, and I would get my ID out so I could run through the gate. But then I would just boom and just hit him in the fucking side of his head and bang his head off the window. And then I would jump out the car and run.
Well, let me tell you, as a guy who had to, in hard times, do rideshare as a kind of a taxi job.
Yeah.
It really disappoints me that you did that,
dude. I'm not proud of this moment. I'm not proud of a lot.
I'm sure you had enough bad shit happen to you karmically.
I did.
That you're all good. You paid.
Dude, that burn accident wipes away a lot of this shit. That's why I don't have a problem telling any of these stories. But yeah, look, I'll be the first one to admit it. I was a bad guy in the service. They take this kid. I was 17. Or I think I just turned 18. I was like 18. Well, it was January when I got there, and my birthday's the end of October. So I'm 18 and 2 months. I get to Korea. Right. They tell me I can drink. I had a security clearance, so I was working as a bodyguard for the highest ranking guy in the country. I'm being his bodyguard. And the first day, they give me this pass, and they say, now don't get in any trouble, but if you do, here's a number you can call. What does that do to 18-year-old Chris Akin?
I got to get out of jail free card.
Yeah, I'm going to go fucking crazy. I am going to go absolutely bonkers. And I did. And plus, over there, legal to drink.
Yeah.
So, legal to drink. And as you're well aware, I can drink a little bit. So, it was not...
Chris has a book where he goes into detail about his shenanigans over there.
I do. It's over here somewhere. And other things I should not say. Let me see.
And other things I should not say available where all fine books are sold. Amazon.
It's available on Amazon.
Place to start.
Let me pull that right up. There it is.
Nice. Now tell people the funniest thing about this book cover. Tell them what it says there. In
the Korean?
Yeah.
The Korean translate. Wrong button. The Korean translates to "Your mother has a bald pussy,"
nice.
which is like the worst insult that you can say. It's like going to Germany.
That's worse than jerking Horseshack off.
Yeah,
on live TV
by a lot. It's worse than going to Germany and trying to espouse the greatness of Hitler. It's because what the folklore that I've been told was that what the Japanese, when they invaded Korea, that's how they marked the women, was by shaving their heads and shaving their snatches and stuff.
Right.
Like they would shave them completely, and that's how they would mark them. So
that's probably more for lice purposes.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what it was, but that was the reason. So, but I'm telling you, you could go downtown. You'd be walking through downtown Itaewon, and
egg flying lice.
Somebody would bump into you or something walking, and I was always drunk anyway. So somebody'd bump into me walking. I'd be like, How does she be back poachy da, motherfucker? You know, I'd be like,
Oh,
that.
Chris.
I would do that. I would spit it out in Korean so they knew what I was saying, but then I would throw the American, you piece of shit or you motherfucker or whatever behind it. And it was like,
we wonder why everyone hates us.
and it was definitely the fights were on. That's why if you look at my fingers, they're all fucking broke because I used to fight a ton, you know, and I broke every finger on my hand, on both hands in Korea. I lived a little dangerously over there, my friend. Lucky somebody didn't just kill me.
Yes, you are.
They should have.
See, now you play it cool. You play it safe.
Sometimes, most times. I haven't been in anything in about 6 or 7 years now, which is one of the longest streaks I've ever had of not having any. The last thing I had, I was at a Slayer show, and there was this dude 4 or 5 rows above us. It was me, my friend John, his wife Stephanie, and their kid. And Stephanie was sitting. It was at a venue that was just kind of bleachers, and Slayer was playing, and Stephanie was sitting on the end, and I was sitting next to Stephanie, and some dude 4 or 5 rows up was beating the shit out of his girlfriend for some reason, just beating the shit out of her. And
I'm sure she did something bad.
I don't know what she did, but the police came and started yanking this fucking guy out, you know, and they're yanking him down the steps, and he like tripped over Stephanie's foot, I think, or leg or something, and he reared back to fucking punch her, and I just jumped right over her and just started wham. And it was funny because they're pulling this guy down, like the way it was positioned, just a little small walkway. The cops couldn't really do anything because they were down further, you know, pulling this guy. So they're trying to pull him down. Stephanie's got me by my hair trying to pull me away from this guy. I'm pulling her down the goddamn steps because I'm hitting this fucker in the face, you know, and then we got to the bottom and the police went to arrest me. And then I guess Stephanie or John or somebody was like, no, he was stopping him from hitting her, you know, and I got away with it. But yeah, I still have that hair trigger. It's a little longer of a fuse now. Yeah, I'll say that.
My meds help with that. I'm on these like blood pressure meds. They kind of keep me cool enough where before I would just like explode, my blood pressure would go out of control, and that was it. Now I find myself more like thinking things over. Plus, those days are over, man. I probably get hurt now.
Well, that's it, dude. It's like now, you know, I've been laying around for months with a stupid fucking shoulder. Last thing I want to do is go get in a fight with somebody now.
I've been in so many of those over the years. Like I'm lucky. Now it's like preserving my gig at all costs. You know what I mean? Being available, being healthy. There's a lot of guys. Look at Nuno, man. That's insane. Like him playing basketball. For one, I didn't even know they had a basketball court on this thing. And then sure enough, they do. And then I'm seeing pictures of them playing. And it reminded me of Dave Chappelle when he does his like Prince story where like the Prince band played basketball and then made pancakes afterwards.
Right.
Like, wow. Like the band Extreme is just like that. They go and play basketball. And like sure as shit, you know, the dude's leg snapped in half or whatever. I did see him on crutches, like coming into the dining area, and I kind of felt for the guy. And then they didn't do M3, which I think it was almost like, hey, are we going to do M3? Like we could maybe change our plane tickets and go take their place. But I don't know, something didn't work out, I think, for whatever reason, but didn't happen. And now I guess he is gonna. But that's an ACL. You tore an ACL.
That's a year,
dude.
Man.
He's going to be miserable going up and playing these shows.
I tore my MCL once, and I had the surgery on the MCL. And you're going to laugh at this story.
That's your Motley Crue ligament?
No, yeah, exactly. Now, this is the tragic of all tragic stories. So I was home a month because I tore my MCL and I had the surgery. And I was supposed to be off 6 weeks, but I went back to work 2 weeks early because I couldn't afford to be off anymore. And I just wrapped my leg up real tight, you know, and just was like, oh, I'm just going to limp around and hope for the best, right? The night I went back is the night I got blown up. If I would have stayed out the 2 more weeks, I never would have had that accident. But then
Right.
I would have never been doing this. So
You would have never burned away your bad karma, though.
yeah, true. Or I'd have done it some other way and got my head chopped off in a car or something.
Right.
You know, drunk driving accident or some shit. So whatever. You know, shit, dude. I don't even look at that accident as bad anymore. I mean, it sucked at the time. Believe me, my mom and my ex-wife would tell you a different story. But for me, everything I've gotten to do, all the great fun shit that I've gotten to do, whether it's meeting rock stars or, you know, doing this with me and you or me and Neely or writing all these books or owning the businesses, everything I've gotten to do would have never happened if I would have stayed a fucking middle of the road fucking steel worker with no ambition. Once I got hurt, I got fucking motivated and I just started doing shit.
Plus, you have like a sense of purpose more. I don't know if you did. I know I did. Like when I survived my thing, I went, well, obviously there's a couple more things I need to do or I would have been taken right now.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, you gotta do you gotta be happy with every day that you get. You really, when you face death, like really face death, as both of us have, when you've really stared it in the eye, you realize that you better fucking be happy that you got today.
That's right.
Because there ain't no guarantees about any further days. So, you know. So anyway, didn't know that we were going to go into this, but whatever. Yeah, I know, so sad. Well, one last quick thing, we'll get the fuck out of here. So you remember a couple of weeks ago we had our friend Tony Zimmerman on, right?
Right from that had the collectibles, correct?
Yes. Look at this bad puppy.
Oh.
Look at that.
That's so cool.
That is the coolest fucking thing, dude.
I did see a picture of that, and Toomey got something also.
Toomey
right?
got a bunch of stuff. Toomey got like $1,000 worth of stuff.
I know.
I felt really guilty asking for this thing because it was like $200.
He had all the Pantera action figures.
He got all the Pantera guys plus the Pantera leaf, the pot leaf, which was a separate Pantera thing. So
nice.
I like that dude. We're going to definitely have him back on again, but not to talk about collectibles, just to talk. He wants to just come on and talk about metal.
Talk metal.
So I'm all for that. You know me. I love talking about that kind of stuff. So, and look, we made a new friend tonight that wants to come back on, Kenny Olson.
That's right.
Dude, do it every time. Just fucking, you get guys, you get comfortable.
They like our show because
because it's loose.
Awesome. That's right.
It's loose.
Fast and loose.
Well, it's not just the whole. Okay, here's a question for you. You recorded at XYZ Studios with XYZ. What was that like?
Dude, I played the goddamn Welcome Back Cotter theme. That was like, I came up with that 10 minutes before the show. I mean, I already had these guys behind me as a welcome back, but then I go, that would be funny to actually play it. And I had to like sit there. It was like around 4:30 my time.
Right.
And I was pulling the song up on YouTube and trying to learn the chord changes really quick. I'm like, this is really ballsy what I'm about to do right now. But
it's funny. It's good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing our little goofy thing over here. That's what we're doing. So, all right. Well, let's be done with our goofy thing over here. I think we've given the kids enough.
I'd say so.
I would say so. This is fun tonight. Next week, I don't know that we have anything booked yet, but I have feelers out. We may, and I'll say it because I don't care. We may be having David Thibodeau, who is a survivor of Waco. He was one of the Branch Davidian guys that survived Waco.
Wow.
And he was also David Koresh's drummer. So I've been in contact with him. He said he'd love to do the show, but he was traveling the week that we were going to have him on because they had a big Waco anniversary thing. A couple of weeks.
Waco anniversary jam.
Well, I don't think it was a jam. I think it was more of a memorial. I don't think they get together and go, woohoo, we burned it up.
Why
bitches. Not? I don't think they have a bonfire to celebrate. All right. I think it's a very somber thing. But yeah, I've been in contact with him. I love doing this kind of stuff, and I know I talked to you about it, and you were like all in as well. I love that kind of stuff, that's different. That's not, hey, here's the guy from Kick Tracy. You know, I like doing stuff that is like news, like legitimate news every once in a while. I like to keep it loose, but I got a lot of questions. There's a show on right now called Waco Aftermath. It's on
Waco After Dark.
Yeah, exactly. After light, burning light. But
Waco Aftermath.
Yeah. Damn, I got a fucking sharded nail. Don't know how I did that, but it's hurting like a motherfucker. But no, but I've been watching this Waco Aftermath on Paramount, and it led me back to watching the original Waco docuseries. And I'm just like, they're saying a lot of stuff specifically about David Thibodeau that I want to ask him.
Right.
So it's like, all right, let's and from what I understand, the Waco docuseries was based off of his book. So some of the stuff is pretty hard. So, you know, one guy just says point blank, he said, David Thibodeau's a fucking liar. And I want to ask him specifically about that. About that.
Are you a fucking liar, Mr. David?
Well, where did that come from is what I want to ask him, is how did he, because it wasn't said to him. It was said like in the backroom negotiations with the lawyers and stuff.
Well, you know what? He was there, though. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got the burn scars to prove that. So,
Which was had to be a horrifying, day.
well, he had his wife burn up.
Right.
You know, I mean,
kids that died, and that was another one of those situations where, because I have to refamiliarize myself with it, but I believe the government gave the weapons to them, like these weapons in question.
Well, they sold them.
Sold them, yeah. So again, the government, the FBI, whoever was involved in this scheme the whole time.
Well, and again, it just leads to so many questions, and I mean, a lot of them I'm sure he's been asked 100 times. But I hate to be this guy, but I'm going to ask him anyway. You know, as far as, you know, did anybody start those fires?
Right.
Or was it the government that fucking?
Well, here's the thing: he's gonna get discredited, and
of course
they always whitewash all that stuff you watch on TV. If it's on Netflix, forget about it.
I get that.
Paid for that.
What I'm saying though is, me and you, not necessarily likely to just fucking suck the government dick and take their story.
Right.
We'll listen to what the guy has to say, and then we'll make an evaluation.
Government's balls, but we won't. No, kidding.
No, we'll make our own evaluation. And this is one of the reasons I'm fascinated by the Waco story. And I want to ask somebody that was there. Tell me it and help me form my real opinion. Because my only opinion, quite honestly, from Waco was fucking CNN.
Yeah.
That's the only news I got about it. Was they showed it over and over again on CNN, and they just said, "Oh, these guys were fucking crazy," and these guys and
well, it's the CIA news network,
of course.
So of course they control the narrative as they always
have. Of course. And back then we weren't questioning the narrative like we do now.
No, we thought that was legit. We're like CNN. I get my news from CNN.
Yeah,
we like brag about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you watch something else, you fool. How could you?
Right.
And if the ATF says that these fucking people burned themselves to death, then they must have. Ugh. You know, we believe the narrative. Then, back in 94, I think? 94, 93? Yeah, it's right then. But yeah, this is a cool opportunity, and I'm more
interesting guest to have.
About.
See, someone who was actually there.
Yeah.
We'll hear his side of things.
And I want to ask him about the songs that he played with David Koresh, if he still plays them. He still plays music. He
should get in a band with Charles Manson.
Well, Charles Manson's dead, dude.
Oh, did he die?
Yeah, he died. April of 93. Thank you, T-Cuz, brah. But yeah, I know it was in there somewhere. But yeah, I'm excited about having him on. Another rumored guest. I don't even mind. If it doesn't come through, it doesn't come through. Is Andrew Hagar, Sammy Hagar's son.
Oh, okay.
Who's he's doing a show. He has a band, like they all do, but he's also doing a show about, growing up in the famous footsteps. So I'm anxious to find out about Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
I've gotten drunk with Sammy Hagar once, and that was fun. So I'm anxious to hear what his kid has to say. If he's
Right.
if he's a good dad, or if he was always trashed, or always on the road, or what. You know,
I'm gonna guess that he was a good dad.
I'm guessing he probably was too. But it should be interesting to hear. You know, to see what he has to say. So
Yeah.
we will see. We will see how it all goes. But why am I getting texts now? What's going on here? Hey, people, I'm still doing radio. Yeah.
And tomorrow
Anyway.
we'll be doing. I don't know if we're supposed to say, but there's an interview. I have to be up.
No,
early
we can
for.
say it. We can absolutely say it because if you are a subscriber on the locals page, which is classicmetalshow.locals.com, Erik and I will be getting up bright and early tomorrow to interview Mr. Richie Faulkner of Judas Priest about the new Judas Priest record and about his project after Priest that's coming called Elegant Weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are a subscriber to the locals page, we will be releasing it tomorrow. So we're going to do it early, then I'm going to flip it real quick, and then I'm going to put it in there for the locals people, and it probably won't come out on the regular podcast for at least a month, because I've got a month's worth of stuff, already pre-done for the Tuesdays. But if you want it ahead of time, get there tomorrow, and it'll be there tomorrow. So
yeah, we're gonna start getting into doing special content.
Yeah.
If you will.
Well, we're gonna definitely build up some content and some different ways to participate and help the show and blah blah blah.
Possibly musical performances.
Yes, like
More
that
TV
Welcome Back
themes
Cotter song that
from
we
the
had.
80s.
Yeah, that's right. Next week, Saved by the Bell song by
That's
Erik.
Silver spoons. Here
That's
we are, face to face. A couple of silver spoons.
All right, now if you can get the next line, I'll give you $20.
Hoping to find we're two of a kind, making
Is
our
it?
way, making a play together.
God damn it.
We're gonna find our way. It's
God-
Venmo at Erik Valentinos.
God
Together.
Nice. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, my brother.
That's enough. This has been fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, next week we will be back 8 p.m. on the Eastern, 5 p.m. on the Pacific time. So for Chris Akin Presents, I am Chris Akin.
And I'm Erik Valentinos.
And we are fucking gone. See ya.